We're going to talk to Brent Beard. We're going to talk to David Cohn. We'll get to all of the big bowl games going on this weekend. We'll also have to get to the college football playoff semifinal games this weekend. We'll try to get a pick winners and that sort of thing from both of our guests. Our college football guest today. We'll also talk some college basketball, Kevin Sweeney, later, but we'll talk more about that when we give the rundown at about 3:15. But Johnny, we've got a couple of bowl games today. We got to do some picks later in the show. We'll do those probably when we're done talking to David Cohn at about 4:20. We'll make the 3 or 4 picks we need to make today for bowl games happening later tonight and tomorrow before we come on air. I believe tomorrow is when we start to get some early bowl games, maybe an 11 o'clock game tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I know Friday we've got a really early one, but I want to say we've got an early one tomorrow. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, the Fenway Bowl between SMU and Boston College. I have a buddy who just graduated at SMU, lives and works down in Dallas, and he and all his buddies that he graduated with, they all feel that SMU was a little slighted. He thought they deserved that spot in the college football playoffs, but ultimately they didn't get in. They'll play in the Fenway Bowl against Boston College tomorrow. We've got a heck of a game going on.
Man, we do.
Right now between Virginia Tech and Tulane. They just came back from break. And, Johnny, it is pouring down rain. They just showed.
Who's up, Dakis?
Right now Virginia Tech's up 17-10, but it looks like we might have a fumble on the play, and it could be Tulane's ball. But
come on, Tulane.
One of my favorite things about games that are played in the rain, it doesn't matter if it's football, if it's baseball, if it's soccer. The camera guys, they know, and Johnny, you've done some camera work
I have.
In the past, and so I know you know this, and I don't know if it's taught to them or what, or they just realize it, but you can always get a good look at how hard it's raining by pointing the camera at one of the lights.
You really can.
And then you can see all the rain in front of it. And they just did that in this game where they showed the light and showed just how hard it was raining. And they did just rule it a fumble, so it's going to be Tulane's ball. They're down 7. This line, I don't remember what we picked it at yesterday. Do you remember what we picked it at?
I don't remember, but I know if I'm not mistaken, I think just me and you picked Tulane to win this.
I think so, and I think we might have had it at 10.5, maybe.
Let me look.
I want to say we had it at 10.5. I'm looking right now. I've got it 10.5. This game got all the way up to about 12.5 right before kickoff. So
any reason why?
I don't know. I think Tulane, obviously, head coach is gone. I think
that is true.
Their offensive coordinator is the interim head coach for this bowl game. Obviously, they hired John Summerall, who they just talked to at halftime over on ESPN. Their starting quarterback is gone, Michael Pratt.
Yeah.
He's out. I think there's some people that thought their backup quarterback, Kai Horton, who played against Ole Miss, was their starting quarterback against Ole Miss, played really, really well.
Kai Horton's actually a real solid player,
but he's in the transfer portal right now.
Really?
But he's playing in this game, and so I think some people, we talked about it yesterday, Johnny, about players in the transfer portal, but they're still playing for their team. Kai Horton is one that has not found a landing spot, is playing in this game. I believe he's in the game now. It was weird because he played the first possession.
Yeah.
They couldn't really move the ball, and then they put in a different quarterback, and then he got injured.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think Kai Horton's back in at quarterback right now. So it's very, very interesting. But I think maybe some people thought he wasn't going to play, so now you're looking at a third string, maybe even fourth string quarterback.
But, Brian, that goes back to exactly what me and you discussed yesterday about guys hitting the portal, but then they're still playing for the team. And if we're looking at some of the teams that are doing it, a lot of the coaches got fired or they're the interim coach. So, in other organizations, Brian, I just don't feel like they're going to go for that, man, who's been there for a long time.
It's very interesting because, and we talked about it yesterday, Johnny, and I see it both ways because
me too.
I do think there is something to I'm getting in the portal, and obviously different situations, of course, but like at Duke, where your head coach goes to Texas A&M. I was recruited by that coach. I was brought in by that coach. That coach has been my coach ever since I got here, and I don't want to play for a guy that's just coming in. I'm getting in the portal to weigh my options, to maybe go somewhere else, but I've given everything I have to this program this year. And I understand coaches being like, yeah, you gave everything you have for this program. I understand you wanted to go to the transfer portal, play in this last game with your guys. And I get that. Kai Horton is back in the game. He just had a rushing touchdown. So this game's back to tied 17-17.
Yes, sir. Come on, Tulane.
Which looks good for us because we just have them. We just need them to.
Yeah.
If they're going to lose, we just need them to lose by less than 11 because we had it at 10.5. So I mean, we're looking pretty good right now. But I get that. I'm trying to think. Of the ones that I've seen, and I'm sure I could be missing some that this happened to. But you had Duke, who was playing guys that had already landed spot, lost their coach. Tulane, Kai Horton. There might be a couple other guys that are in the portal but are playing in this game. Coach left. Their coach going to Houston. And then Coastal Carolina, first-year coach. You got this guy, Grayson McCall, who's been, 3-4 year starting quarterback. And, he didn't play, but he was on the sidelines. I understand all of those. Those are so different than McKylan Pounders going into Ryan Silverfield's office saying, hey, coach, I'm entering the transfer portal. I'm going down to Mississippi State, but I really enjoyed playing this season.
Man.
I want to stick around for the bowl game and play with my boys. Completely different.
Man, that's not going to happen, man.
No.
I think me and you both know that would not happen.
Going to sit there and go, okay, I recruited you.
Yeah.
I've developed you.
Yeah.
You've been my guy.
Yeah.
You've been my starter.
Yeah.
And now you're going to leave me.
Man.
No. But I understand if an interim coach or offense coordinator's in there and, Kai Horton goes in there and says, hey, coach, I really love, this team. I love what we're doing, but I just don't feel comfortable sticking around. I've already been a backup.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable sticking around for a new coach. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. It's going to be complete ground zero.
Yeah.
He's probably going to want to bring in his guys.
Yeah.
He's probably going to want to bring in a quarterback that fits his system. I don't know if I fit his system. I'm going to leave, but I want to play this last game. We're already down. Michael Pratt's not going to play. I want to stick around, play in this game, help this team out because I still care about this team. And I could see I don't know who their interim coach is. I think it's their offensive coordinator. But saying, yeah, no, absolutely. I completely understand that. I get that. Completely different.
Man, Brian, I got a question, man.
Okay.
Let's go back to McKylan Pounders, right? Okay, I do see what you're saying as well, but I also see why do certain players leave because, the money in NIL is just so much right now, Yeah. And he have no choice but to leave because he getting so many offers.
Right.
And that's an SEC school, so they got more NIL. So, man, the landscape of college football is just amazing to me, man, because you never know what's going to happen. It's literally like Brian. It's year round. You got to pay attention to your players, to your coaches, to everybody on your staff to make sure they all are ready. Yeah. And they all going to be all in on what you're about to do for the season.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, but I think a lot of these guys that have been at multiple schools they still love their previous schools. And you see a lot of guys that are going into the draft they, when they put their thing, hey, I'm going to draft, they're putting both schools. They'll put Memphis, hey, I just finished my career at Memphis, but I was also at Oklahoma. I was also at this other school. I was so, and they're putting pictures of both schools because they still have love for that school before, that they were at before Memphis or before, wherever. And so, I just because you're transferring to another school, I don't think that means you hate the school you're leaving. And so there's still, these guys still care about their teammates. These guys still care about, it's very interesting because I've seen, especially a lot of Tiger players that I have, that I follow on Instagram or I see their, not Instagram, on Twitter, or I see their tweets. Mm-hmm. They'll post stuff about their old teammates at the previous school, Texas A&M or Oklahoma or wherever it might be. They've got, they're still friends with all those guys. So if they have a good game or something like that, they're retweeting that. They're retweeting this. And so it's really interesting the way the transfer portal is working right now.
Man, it really is. And it truly is amazing, man, to see how this came, man. Because, Brian, when we were growing up, man, we really didn't see this, man. And it's just amazing to see how far college football have expanded and grown altogether.
Yeah, no, it really has. And, it's going to be interesting. These bowl games have kind of made it, I know some people are upset with what the, bowl season has turned into because of all of the transfers. And, it seems like every morning when you wake up and you're, especially if you're handicapping these games, which I know, Johnny Radio was talking about this earlier. But even if you're just watching these games and you just like college football, I know, like, my dad, he, does not sports bet or anything like that. He just loves watching college football. And he's like, I don't even know who's starting at quarterback for this team because it's a second or third string. And same thing for like Johnny Radio, who's betting on a lot of these games. He's like, I have to wake up in the morning and basically go and try to figure out who's playing, who's not playing, who's in the transfer portal, who's opted out, and how many teams are going to be missing. And I've seen, there's a lot of websites and sites that do the betting aspect of it that I think are kind of cashing in right now because they're telling their employees, they're telling the people that, are handicapping these games, go out there and find, or maybe, some of the lower guys on the totem pole that are trying to work their way up to the top handicapping guy, top gambling guy. Hey, go out there and get a list of players that are in the transfer portal for this team. Get a list of who have opted out for this team. And then we can post that on our website where people can come and see who's playing, who's not playing. And I think that's a great idea for the bowl season. But Johnny, we've completely buried the lead on what we really should be talking about today, and that is what the Grizzlies did last night.
Man, that was electric by Ja Morant.
On the road in New Orleans, where Ja Morant made his first start, his first appearance of the season after that 20-game suspension. Grizzlies go back down there and kind of played out almost exactly like it did last week.
Man, and Ja Morant, hey, Brian, you can agree or disagree. Would you agree that he played better than what he did?
It
looked like he had more of his legs up under him for this game.
And that is a huge part of it because you could tell that first game back, he, as much as he was out there and leaving it all on the line, you could tell times when he was on the bench, during timeouts, after the game when he's talking to, they did the on-court interview and stuff like that. He was winded. He was gasping for breath, and I think he's definitely played 40 minutes last night because that game went into overtime, and I don't know if he would have been able to do that last week. 31 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds for him. Did have 6 turnovers, but it became what it was last week, where Grizzlies are down, and Ja Morant has the ball in his hands, and with about a couple seconds left on the clock, and they draw up a play for him. He goes up, misses the game-winning layup, but a foul was called after it was challenged by the Pelicans, and they said, actually, no foul. Let's go to center court and have a jump ball with 1.3 seconds left. When that happened and there was a jump ball at center court, I said, okay, well, that 3-game winning streak was fun while it lasted. Good fight, but, just fell short to a good Pelicans team. They get the jump. They immediately call a timeout. They draw up what I thought was a good play out of the timeout to try to lob it up to Jaren, and they get the foul. And Jonas Valanciunas fouls Jaren. They go to the line. Jaren has an opportunity to win it in regulation. He makes the first one, misses the second one, and here we go, overtime. And the Grizzlies played really, really well in overtime, won the game by 1 point, 13-12 in overtime to get a 116-115 win over the Pelicans. We mentioned it yesterday, but it was Marcus Smart's first game back. He was in the starting lineup, so that was something that I think a lot of people were interested to see. The starting lineup played out to be Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson,
and we talked about that.
Bismack Biyombo. We did talk about that. And Marcus Smart, played almost 30 minutes solid last night. He did play solid, 13 points, 5 steals for him, which is huge. That's what you want. We knew,
especially from a defensive player of the year.
Exactly. We knew what kind of player on the defensive end he was, and you wanted to see that in a Grizzlies uniform. And we really got that, especially in overtime. Thought he played really, really well. He got a steal on Brandon Ingram that he took all the way the other way. Got a layup and one on that, and so he converted that free throw. A couple minutes later in that game, he takes a charge with less than a minute left on Zion. That they were up by 4, and so that really kind of swung the momentum and kept it in favor of the Grizzlies. And then, he threw that lob to Ja Morant
to ice the game.
That to ice the game has really been going around on social media. A lot of people talking about that alley-oop, and it was huge last night. And so that was a huge win. Grizzlies didn't play, didn't shoot the ball great, I should say. Attempted 46 threes last night. Made 11 of them.
Yeah.
That's 26%.
We're not
23%.
We're not a 3-point shooting team.
No.
But one guy who I really think don't get the shine that he do from the mainstream media, but we love him here, is Desmond Bane. And he been playing at an all-star level quietly, man.
Yeah, and he
very quietly all-star level right now.
You're right, and he was kind of the only three-point presence they had last night. He made 5. He was 5 for 14 from 3, finished with 27 points. Second in scoring last night behind Ja Morant. He's played really well. You're hoping you could get Luke Kennard back in the next week, and that he can bring some three-point shooting. So it's interesting. We're going to talk more about this a little bit later in the show, because I do want to talk about what this means, what this little stretch 4 games in a row means for the Grizzlies, the good, the bad, and what to expect next game. Big one against Denver. That one will be tough for the Grizzlies. We know Denver's been playing really, really well. They'll have Denver, and then I think the schedule remains kind of tough. Yeah, at Denver, at L.A., home against Sacramento, and then you get back-to-back games against back-to-back home games, I should say, against the Spurs and the Raptors, 2 teams that are also under 500 alongside the Grizzlies. So we'll talk more Grizzlies, but let me set up the show before we get to top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. He'll join us to talk some college football. A lot to get to with Brent. He couldn't visit with us yesterday. He had family in town, so he was enjoying some time with his family yesterday. He's much deserved, but he's nice enough to join us today, talk some college football. So we'll do that in our next segment. 3:45, we'll jump back into the Grizzlies and their win over the Pelicans last night. 4 o'clock, David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company, will join us to talk some more college football. A lot to get to with David. 4:30, we'll get some early lines for this weekend. College football, all the big bowl games going on this weekend, so we'll take a look at those lines. We'll also talk about NFL lines for this weekend. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Kevin Sweeney will join us to talk college basketball from CBB Central and Sports Illustrated. We haven't had any games the last couple of days because of Christmas. We had we had one tournament going on in Hawaii, the Diamond Head Classic, that wrapped up on New Year's Eve, but we didn't have any games on Christmas.
Yeah.
We didn't have any games yesterday, only 2 games tonight, and then it will start to get more and more as the week goes on, but we'll talk a lot of college basketball with Kevin Sweeney at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get into what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you that we're in our family leisure studios where family and fun come together. And head over there for all of the great deals they've got going on before the new year. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Are you tired and sore from all the shopping and everything that goes into Christmas? Check out their huge in-stock selection of hot tubs and massage chairs. And they've got new arcade, game tables, and play gyms on sale, and gifts for the whole family to enjoy. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Johnny, let's get to top story of the day. Well, my top story of the day, it's okay, Johnny. It's okay. We had a little bit of a... Are you ready now? Do you have it now? Should I throw it to you now?
Yeah.
All right, Johnny.
Top story of the day.
Well, Johnny, there we go. My top story of the day. It's okay. A lot of buttons over there. It's a lot.
My fault, bro.
For people who don't know, I mean, you've got like 6 different audio files pulled up over there. I mean,
I really do.
It's okay. But my top story of the day is what the Grizzlies are doing right now. 4 straight wins with Ja Morant on the court. It's been incredible.
Yes, it has.
I don't know. I think a lot of people were excited for Ja Morant's return. I don't know if people expected 4 straight wins because of how bad this team looked without him. I certainly didn't think they would win 4 in a row.
Brian, this just proves that one man can make a huge difference for a team. When you got a superstar level talent like that, man, it hits different, man. You see everybody just playing better.
Yeah.
And they want it even more, Brian.
Well, and I think it's a ripple effect because you look at everybody else and the energy level. Brett has talked for a couple weeks now, and this Virginia Tech game looks like it's starting to get ugly. 24-17, and Virginia Tech has the ball back. But you see that ripple effect. Brett's been talking a lot the couple weeks before Ja Morant's return of the energy level. There just wasn't enough energy from this team. They weren't playing like they really wanted to win. They just played like they had to be out there, and I think you're seeing that shift. I mean, it's easy to do when you have lost so many games. This is certainly not the start the Grizzlies won, and I think a lot of people thought, okay, Ja Morant's out, but that's okay. You've got so many weapons, and obviously that was when that's when the Grizzlies had a starting center, and then he gets injured, and that changes a lot. But I don't think they expected to only win 6 games while Ja Morant was out for the first 25. I mean, that's just really, really bad. And so you're seeing this new energy, and you're seeing them play really, really well. 4 wins in a row, and Ja Morant has been unbelievable in these 4 games back. He's averaging 28.8 points and 8.5 assists per game in these 4 games back. Probably won't continue. I mean, this next game against Denver will be really, really tough. But I want to know what y'all think out there. 901-360-8255. Let us know. Did you expect 4 straight for the Grizzlies? And what have you thought about this 4-game stretch? And with Denver coming up, do you think they can make it 5?
Man, that's a great top story, man. But I'm going to transition, Brian, to the NFL, man. Brian, I have finally come to the conclusion that Christian McCaffrey is the MVP.
Really?
He's the MVP, Brian.
Okay.
The numbers do not lie, man. He in scrimmage yards, he leading the whole NFL, man. And I just feel like how he's leading the team, man. I love Lamar Jackson, trust me, I really do. But Lamar just don't got the numbers, man. He just don't got it. Yeah. And Christian McCaffrey, I had a lot of talks with a lot of people, man. I agree that he's the guy.
Not top story.
I like it. I think it's until they give it to someone who's not a quarterback, I'll unfortunately say it's quarterback award. I hate that it is. I hate that
and that's why I was saying
there's so many talented players. I'm still a Tyreek Hill guy. I think he deserves the MVP, but Christian McCaffrey is certainly another one that I think definitely deserves it. My not top story of the day, and I want to talk more about this when we get to what's trending at about 5:30. But Johnny, you got your wish. 27 losses
How
in
amazing
a row
was that?
for the Detroit Pistons.
Man, that made my day yesterday, man. Seeing that the Detroit Pistons I'm gonna give me a Cade Cunningham jersey off of that, man.
Because they've lost 27 in a row?
That's history, man. That is history. I love the fact that I just saw history. Brian, we don't see a lot of history like that, especially losing, man. I love that.
You're a terrible person.
That's
You're
amazing.
Horrible. I hope you got coal in your stocking for Christmas.
I did. How did you know?
I just a wild guess. 27 losses in a row after losing last night to the Nets, 118-112. And Johnny, there were times in this game where the Pistons had the lead. It looked like the Pistons would maybe be able to win this game, and the crowd was into it. They were wanting that win. But ultimately, it didn't happen. This is now the longest single-season losing streak in NBA history. Now, you lose a couple more games. I think 3 more games?
3 more.
That is the longest, no matter single season, combined seasons.
That's combined season.
Longest ever.
Brian.
The longest amount of losses ever. Whether it be you lost the last 7 games of this season and then you start the season losing 30 of them, it would be the longest ever. We don't get to that far. How about this, Johnny?
Oh, come on, talk.
The Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
A baseball team. Johnny, are you familiar when the baseball season ends?
Yeah, it's around, if I'm not mistaken, November.
It's late October, almost November. Maybe the last game was in the first couple days of November. The Arizona Diamondbacks have won a baseball game since the Detroit Pistons have won their last game.
Man, that should have been your
We're
big
more
number.
recent to a Arizona Diamondbacks win than we are a Detroit Pistons win.
That's amazing.
And baseball's not even being played anymore.
Brian, I love it, man. I love everything about it. That's
incredible.
That's a truly accident waiting to happen. But right quick, before we go to break, Brian, I'm going to get into Sean Payton. Sean Payton have benched Russell Wilson.
They sure did.
Hey,
we're going to talk about that more as well. I mean, that's
Hey, that's more to come in the show, man.
Boy, what'd you think of it? Just quick thoughts.
Brian, let me tell you this, Brian. I wasn't shocked because, you know, they don't want him to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, man? Because they invested a lot of money into him.
And they're getting rid of him.
And they're going to get rid of him.
And he has a guarantee in his contract that if he doesn't pass his physical before the start of next year,
Brian, I didn't know that.
He gets X amount of money, and so he's healthy right now. You sit him, you don't have to pay him all that money, you get rid of him, and you start fresh.
But the thing is, Brian, who they gonna get to take that contract? That's the thing. Who you get to take that contract?
Somebody will take him. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He hadn't been bad this year. He's had a sneaky good season. Go look at the stats, Johnny. He's had a sneaky good season. Russ has been Russ.
See, I don't
really
want to
Russ.
disrespect Russell
He's
Wilson on the show,
sneaky
man.
good this year.
Hey, man.
People don't want to talk about it because it's the Broncos, but the Broncos have turned things. Well, they were turning things around. He's been sneaky
What'd you
good
say?
this year.
Were
Well,
they did?
Yeah, whatever. All right. Well, I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we're talking college football with Brent Beard.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
How's the Christmas shopping going? Yeah, that's what I thought. But Frontier Western Store will make it a lot easier. Everyone loves something from Frontier. They have thousands of coats, shirts, and boots. Outfit the entire family today. Looking for a Carhartt beanie? Frontier has every color they make. You'll find a whole wagon full of beanies. You'll also run into the largest selection anywhere of in-stock Carhartt and Ariat jackets and coats. They have endless aisles, an astounding collection at amazing prices. Don't forget the boots, work boots, and dress boots from Rocky, Dan Post, and especially Ariat. Frontier is the place to shop for name brand boots at the lowest prices every day. Way lower than chain stores and online. Thousands of boots in all sizes for men, women, and children. Not sure what to get? Frontier gift cards are always the right size, color, and price. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, the official hotel of the NCAA. Whether you're a student athlete working towards your championship dreams or your team's biggest fan, Fairfield by Marriott has everything you need to get ready for game day, from comfortable guest rooms to a complimentary hot breakfast. Visit fairfield.marriott.com to book your next game day stay. Fairfield by Marriott, part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels, an official hotel of the NCAA.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 1717.
Fill your game day cooler with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of earlier wrecks out here. Just to play it safe, slow it down. There's lots of radar still out here, especially over in Arkansas towards Forest City. I-40 East is starting to pick up in certain spots over here around Warford, Hollywood. Still not too bad right now down through South Haven as we stare at it live on 55 all the way down through DeSoto County. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64. They are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
We're working to get Brent Beard on. Johnny's trying to get a hold of him, and we'll try to get him on shortly. But welcome back in to Sports Time. Bryant and Johnny with you, and we're going to talk a lot of college football with Brent when we get him on here in a second, but just kind of update people on what's happening right now. Virginia Tech and Tulane, about 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter for them right now. Virginia Tech up by 10, 27-17. If you like to gamble, as I know we sometimes like to do up here, I think we picked it at about 10.5. But this line got up to about 12, 13 before the game. It's an ugly game, raining. We got a handful of games later tonight. And then tomorrow and Friday, we'll get to kind of the all-day bowl games. Tomorrow, got a game starting at 10 a.m. The next day, we've got one starting at about 10 or 11. So if you love these college football bowl games, you're really going to enjoy the next couple of days. And then Saturday, we've got a lot of really, really good ones, and we will have the college football semifinals coming up on New Year's Day. But Brent Beard joins us now to talk some college football. Brent, thanks so much for joining us on a Wednesday. Usually we talk to you on Tuesdays, but thanks so much for giving us some time on a Wednesday. A lot to get to, a lot of bowl games this weekend, but I do want to start off with a bowl game that happened last Friday. Georgia Tech beat UCF in the Gasparilla Bowl. I know throughout the season we've been talking a lot about Brent Key and the job he's done in year one at Georgia Tech. What did you just make of the overall season for him at Georgia Tech this year?
Same thing. The biggest thing about Brent Key is he wants to be there.
Yeah.
This is not a lily pad necessarily for him. Now, look, if someone larger in stature than Georgia Tech calls him, I understand that he may go. But the reality is with what he's done, and then you've got look, they're probably still celebrating that mind-blowing win over Miami.
Oh yeah,
is what it amounts to with that too. And by the way, it really also needs to be said that I've heard some media calling Gus Malzahn an elite coach. He has averaged 4 losses per year over the last 11 years. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't call that elite.
No, that is not elite. But I guess to some people, he's built up enough cachet over the years that he can, I guess, be considered in that category. But I'm like you. I wouldn't put him up there.
No. Look, I mean, the reality is, I give him credit. I mean, there are how many programs in the at 131 who would love to lose just 4 a year?
Oh, a ton.
So because of that, I would say that let's just say this: he's consistent, and if you hire Gus, you know what you're getting. Correct?
Yeah. I think so. That's interesting, but a huge win for Georgia Tech, nonetheless. I think a building stone that they can definitely build off of for next season. You mentioned Miami in there and that big win that Georgia Tech had over them. They play tomorrow against Rutgers, but quarterback is kind of a question mark for them in this bowl game. Tyler Van Dyke entered the transfer portal a couple of weeks ago. He's found a landing spot. What do you think they do next year with quarterback? I know Cam Ward has been a rumor for them, but it seems like, 2 weeks ago, we thought we were really close to Miami getting a quarterback out of the portal, and still nothing. What do you think happens with them at the quarterback position?
Listen, that's the big question for them. Tyler Van Dyke this year was just really horribly inconsistent through a lot of picks toward the end of the season, which was a problem for him. But that, I would say, wouldn't you, Brad? I mean, that's number one for them, isn't it?
Oh, it's got to be.
To figure that out. Now, look, whoever gets the Cam Ward sweepstakes is going to win the lottery.
Yeah.
I mean, he is absolutely tremendous. And the other team involved in that is Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
So my understanding is he has visited or talked or communicated with both of them, and because of that, he is in there. But that would help both of them tremendously. And Miami, frankly, really needs it. I mean, they've got some decent young quarterbacks, I would say, but they really don't. But at this point, these guys have not grown up enough and been seasoned enough to be able to win a conference championship. So, with that said, and look, to me that's a big game for them. They need to win that game in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lord knows how cold it will be up there, number one. Number two, regardless, they need to end the season on a good note, and that I think it'd be very important for them to do that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're talking to Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville. He joins us every single week to talk college football. And for Florida State, you just mentioned them. They're in looking for a quarterback for next season. But for them, I mean, the transfer portal has gotten crazy, or opt-outs have gotten crazy. Tate Rodemaker was kind of the big one over the weekend that announced he's going into the transfer portal. And the big story, because without him, it'll be freshman Brock Glenn who will start for Florida State in their bowl game. That line has moved. I think Georgia's now a 19 or 20-point favorite at most places. So, I mean, how ugly could that game be at the Orange Bowl this weekend?
Oh, it could be. I hope it's not.
Yeah.
But it could almost be laughable, frankly. I believe I saw, you might have saw the same thing as I did. I believe there are 40 opt-outs for that game. 40.
Holy cow.
I mean, how in the world, I mean, we have, look, growing up with this Orange Bowl that has this pristine, reputation over the years, and you've got 40 guys who aren't playing. Look, I know earlier this morning in my notes, I had 17 players on the 2-deep depth chart out for FSU.
Good Lord.
I think now it may be 19.
Wow.
I mean, look, if you're a fan of theirs, and I got a text from a friend who's an FSU fan who said, yeah, we're going, but we may be the only ones down there. So they've either gone to the NFL or they've opted out for something else. Brian, don't you think at the end of this year, and this may be the catalyst to do it, they've got to do something with these bowl games to motivate these guys to play. Yeah. I mean, when we talked about this the last segment we had together, you either tie it to the 12-team playoff, or you play at the beginning of the year, which when I first heard that sounded insane, but frankly now that's beginning to get some traction. Or what you do is you link it to NIL, to where you give these guys a certain amount of money to encourage them to play. Because if this continues, and look, I'd much rather have a playoff than bowls.
Sure.
But I'm also a fan of bowls. I watch all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I listen to them on the radio, or I watch them, and we'll be watching A&M tonight. But the bowls can't take 2 or 3 years, similar to what the Orange Bowl is having right now, can they?
No, not at all. And me and Johnny were talking about it earlier. I mean, it's getting to the point where, I mean, you're having to wake up every single morning and kind of look at the games that are on the slate and going, okay, well, who's playing, who's not playing? Yeah. Now you've got some teams. I saw Duke over the weekend. Their starting running back was in the transfer portal and committed to NC State, but he was playing in the bowl game. Kai Horton in this Tulane game that's going on right now. He's currently in the transfer portal, but he's playing. I mean, there's no rules at all, and it just makes it so hard and kind of frustrating to keep up with all these bowl games.
Well, the Kentucky Clemson tax layers here.
Yeah.
And the good thing for Kentucky is most of their guys are coming back.
Right.
For the game. Now, Ray Davis, the running back, and Andrew Phillips, the cornerback, have declared for the draft, but they're going to play.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And they've lost 13 players to the transfer portal, but Devin Leary and Varian Brown, Dane Key, and Tavayan Robinson, those guys are going to play.
Wow.
So that's a real plus for Kentucky. Now, you've got the tax layer situation, you've got the Orange Bowl. Well, the other thing you've got is you've got a situation like we've got with Missouri and Ohio State. And listen, this is the next thing to a playoff game for Missouri.
Absolutely.
To get a chance to beat Ohio State. So so those big three on offense, they're coming back. So I mean, this would be a Cotton Bowl that for Missouri to win. I don't know how excited Ohio State is, but I know what this will mean to Missouri. Also know what it would mean for Ole Miss and Penn State. Now, Brett could tell us for sure, but I'm pretty sure if Ole Miss wins that game, that's 11 wins, and that's the most in history.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, there's a lot on the line. There's going to be some really, really good bowl games this weekend with the New Year's Six, and even some outside of that between some really high-profile teams. We're almost out of time, Brent, but I do want to ask you about the college football playoff semifinal games this weekend. Alabama, Michigan, Texas, Washington. What do you think about these? And Brett wanted me to get picks from all of our college football guests, so I need picks for both of these games over the weekend.
Yeah, I think Bama wins.
Wow.
I don't think Michigan has played anybody close to Alabama except for Penn State and Ohio State, and they certainly haven't played a quarterback like Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
And that will give them a real plus with that. And then, listen, the Washington game's almost a coin flip for me. But here's your matchup. You've got the Texas defensive line with the Sweat kid, and Bo Davis coaching them, who used to be in Alabama, against the Washington. And I think the Washington offensive line won the Moore Award for the best offensive line. That's your matchup, determine who's going to win that thing. But I think before it's over, we'll have an incredible Texas-Alabama championship game, which, man alive, if we do,
that'd be incredible.
Can you imagine the ratings for that on that Monday night?
That'd be unbelievable. Not only would it be a rematch, but two of the biggest brands in college football going against each other in the championship. That'd be thrilling.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it sure would. Yeah. It's going to be a fun weekend. But Brent, thanks so much for joining us and joining us on a Wednesday instead of our regular Tuesdays. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all these games, and we'll do it again next week.
Good. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Brent. Brent Beard, he joins us every single week, usually on Tuesdays in a longer segment, but we got him on a Wednesday today and talked a lot of college football. It's going to be a really fun weekend of all of these games, but we need to get to a break, and when we come back, we're going to go back and talk a little bit more about the Grizzlies, their win last night over the Pelicans, now 4 wins with John Morant and the road ahead. We'll do that next on Sportstime.
Dave Woloshin for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The season has changed. You know how I know? It's finally here, the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Oh, we're just beginning. Tired and sore from shopping? Check out the huge selection in stock of hot tubs and massage chairs. Oh, and you can surprise the kids with the best stuff, like a new arcade, a game table, even a play gym. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy and enjoy together. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's Family Leisure of Memphis. Every year we wait. They always deliver. They've done it again. The Family Leisure Christmas Sale is happening at I-40 and Whitten Road. That's 2120 Whitten Road to be exact. That's the place of shopping heaven. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together.
Do you have a game plan for COVID-19? Prescription oral treatments must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms, even if mild. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's our season of giving back at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUV Seat 7 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition P Forte RE 699,094 MSRP 21,385. Sorrento PG 242,710 MSRP 33,010. Telluride RG 462 2822 MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024. Dealer stock only.
Are you wearing a hat that says meat?
Yep, it's the final piece of my collection.
Your collection of meat hats?
My collection of Central Barbecue merchandise.
Oh, okay, I've noticed you have a few Central Barbecue t-shirts.
A few. I've got a lot of Central Barbecue t-shirts. In fact, I have them all.
How many are there?
Well, let's see. There's 11 of the basic t-shirts.
11?
And like all other cool Central Barbecue merch, they're available at eatcbq.com.
Did you just use the word merch in conversation?
Not just any merch. CBQ merch. Hats, t-shirts, cups, even kids and baby clothes for when the little me comes along. That kid's going to love Central Barbecue because they have such great
merch.
Ribs. Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Johnny with you, and we've got the turnover bowl going on between Virginia Tech and Tulane. 5 combined turnovers in this game. And it's because of the rain. I mean, these are turnovers that shouldn't happen earlier in the game. Virginia Tech's quarterback, he dropped back and literally had the ball still down at his waist, but was going to throw it. And the ball just slipped out of his hands.
Oh, how amazing.
And Tulane picked it up, took it back for the touchdown. This turnover that just happened for Tulane, and Johnny, I hate to say it, I think our pick's about out the door. They really needed a drive right here. They got the ball. Tulane had the ball, down 14, got the ball. A beautiful pass. Looked like we were going to get first down and some more yards. He gets tackled, ball just squirts out of his hands.
Oh, my goodness.
And, big first down run for Virginia Tech. This game looks like it could get out of hand. It's an ugly game. It's raining. It's miserable, it looks like. I do have an updated bowl game rankings that we'll do. We'll do that when we make our picks at about 4:20. I just got those from Brett. We've been wanting them, so we'll do that. Wow, Virginia Tech's rushed for over 300 yards in this game. I do, though, want to go back to the Grizzlies and talk about what they're doing right now. That win last night makes it 4 in a row for the Grizzlies. 4 games of Ja Morant, 4 wins. And the Grizzlies are now, 4.5 games out of a play-in spot.
Man, how amazing is that, man? Just to see one of the callers or texters, whatever you want to say, they've been texting in, Brian. Mm-hmm. They've been saying Ja Morant's putting the league on notice, and just based off what you said, that is completely true.
Yep.
How everything's going, it's like they all are clicking on all cylinders right now, man. Mm-hmm. And man, Memphis, if they really make a run like this is amazing right here. This is good for sports.
No, it really is, and it's going to get tougher. It's not going to be as easy as it seemed. I mean, you beat New Orleans, which I think New Orleans is a good team. You beat them twice, and I think that's a really good team. I think all these teams are good. Now, are they all playoff caliber good? I don't know. Maybe not, but they're good teams. But now you've got the real test. Denver, who has played really, really well. The Clippers, who are really turning it on. And then the Sacramento Kings, before you play, let's call it how it is, a pathetic Spurs team. They're all young. They have Victor Wembanyama. The future is bright with the Spurs, but they're not doing a lot of winning. Denver, 22-10. The Clippers, they went on that run. They're 18-12. They went on that run where they did not lose a game. They've lost 2 since then, but what was it? They rattled together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight wins before losing back-to-back games against the Thunder and the Mavericks, the Thunder and the Celtics, and beat the Hornets in their last game out. And then you've got the Sacramento Kings that are sitting at 17-12. Now they've lost 2 in a row, and they'll play the Hawks in their next game, which the Grizzlies just got done beating. But these are some challenging teams, and if you can get through this stretch of games, I don't want to say you can win all of them or you're going to win all of them and go, be 7-0 with Ja Morant. But, what are we thinking? Win one more, 5-2 since Ja Morant came back?
I think
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's real good. I honestly think they can get to 7-0.
I mean, look.
I think they can get to 7-0, Brian.
Johnny, I said last night, I think they can win this game. I don't know if they will, because I went super confident, and I thought,
it's hard being a good team
in about a week that you're going down. I mean, that's tough. That's really tough.
And they're a good team.
They're a good team, but the Grizzlies gutted it out, needed overtime, came back from a big deficit, and able to win that game was just really, really remarkable. And now, now 10 wins. We've gotten to double-digit wins on the season, and it's going to take some time. But they're slowly chipping away and stacking these wins up together. Going back to that game last night, we mentioned Ja Morant was really, really good. 31 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Desmond Bain also had a really good game, 27 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. Jaren added 19. And off the bench, I thought, David Roddy, 8 points. Vince Williams, who's been playing really well, he moved back to the bench. He had 6 points, but you're still kind of lacking that depth off the bench. Outside of those two players, David Roddy and Vince Williams, you got 4 points from combined between Santi Aldama, Xavier Tillman, and Zaire Williams.
Man, that's okay.
You need more production off the bench. And I think, and obviously you're getting guys back. You're playing with rotations. You're playing with lineups. And so I think some guys will get more comfortable out there with things, and they'll see, hey, this guy is comfortable on the court with this guy, and this group works better than that group, and things will look better. But we've been saying it the whole time, and now that you're getting more healthy, it looks like it still could be an issue of that first team. The first team you roll out there is really good.
Yeah, they are. But I think I'll go ahead.
No. I go ahead. I was just gonna say, but when they need a rest, it can get a little ugly.
Yeah, it can. That's a lot of time with the lead. Like, we lose it or it get real tight down the stretch.
Yeah.
So we need Derrick Rose to come back healthy, and we need Luke Kennard. We need our guys back.
Well, and that's the thing. You get those two guys back. You get a veteran point guard that know, has done his thing. If he can come off the bench and give you minutes off the bench, Luke Kennard, if you can get that shooting back, it looks like he would probably come off the bench, and you get that shooting off the bench. I think that would be huge. There's still guys that'd
be real good.
Yeah, that you can put into this roster. Brandon Clark. It sounds like he's going to be back around some point in February if things continue to go the way they're going. So
that's a big get.
Yeah, so I think things are going to be fine, and They'll figure this out, but certainly huge to win your first 4 games with Ja Morant back on the court. And like I said, their next game out will be against the Denver Nuggets tomorrow night in Denver. It's going to be an 8 p.m. start. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. Another road game for them. That will be their 3rd straight road game in this 4-game road stretch. Well, Virginia Tech just scored again. So, Johnny, what is that, a 21-point game now?
Yeah, it's 21.
It's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
I think we might have lost this one. So,
we did lose.
We lost. So let's go ahead and get to a break, wrap up this hour. When we come back, we're talking more college football with David Cohn.
Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
Let's wait until spring to put our house on the market. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors, and I've heard that before. Yes, spring is beautiful. The azaleas are in bloom, and so are the real estate signs. More flowers mean more signs. To me, right now is the best time to go on the market. Yes, even during the holidays and the winter months, because the housing inventory is lower, and buyers just don't have the selection available that they would in February, March, and April. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers. Find out what they think about your house, but more importantly, what they will do for you. Make sure I'm one of the ones you call to find out about my highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and win. Remember what they say. When you want the job done, call the worst golfer in town. Call me, Sheldon Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546, and go Tigers.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424710 MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit. Dealer.com.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's trying its best to get a little bit busy at times. Over here, 55 North up by Crump in that road construction. Be careful. Traffic's on the increase coming out of Midtown, southbound on 240 from Union all the way down past Norris, all the way down into South Haven. That looks good right now, south of Memphis on 55 all the way into DeSoto County. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. Call Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. You can check them out online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. College football talk as David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company with Jake Crane, joins Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan, a college quarterback at Michigan, a tall man that's on Twitter at David Adam Cohn. Here's David with Bryant and Brett.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Johnny with you. No Brett. He'll be back on Tuesday. But joining us to talk college football like he does every single week, David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company, joins us now. David, thanks so much for joining us again. A lot to get to. We've got bowl games the rest of the day. We've got bowl games all day tomorrow and Friday, and then the weekend is going to be unreal with these games. But I want to start off North Carolina and West Virginia about to start here in about 30 minutes or so. We won't see Drake May in this game as he's preparing for the NFL draft, and it seems like this season's kind of been up and down for him. A lot of people have been talking that he hadn't been playing, it hadn't played as well this year as he did last year. But what have you thought of the season that Drake May had this year?
I still think he's going to be an excellent NFL quarterback. I think he's going to be a franchise guy. And as always, thanks so much for having me on. Yeah. It's a disappointing year. He was my preseason Heisman favorite. And, anytime you have those sorts of expectations, it has been a disappointment. You look at North Carolina going 8-4. Now, of course, that defense didn't help them out. It was sort of like North Carolina and Southern Cal. There were so many parallels there where you had both of these guys, one the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, the other hoping to win the trophy this year, both with, elite high-level coaches. But the not only did the defensive side leave something to be desired with both of those teams, but also just down years in terms of their performance. I don't know what's going to happen with Mac Brown moving forward. I don't know if he's going to hang him up soon and who would take that job. But to me, the real story in this game is West Virginia. I mean, Neil Brown is on the hot seat. They go 8-4. They're a 5-point favorite in this game. I think you have to tip your cap at everything that West Virginia has done, and it wasn't just at home. I mean, West Virginia has such a great home field advantage, one of the best in college football. But what they were able to do throughout the course of the season, really from the jump, beating a lot of great football teams, was very impressive. So it's going to be an interesting one, and I'm sitting here with my father right now. We're watching Virginia Tech just beat the brakes off an 11-2 Tulane team right now in the pouring rain. I think Virginia Tech's going to have a lot of this offensive line coming back next year. This quarterback's already rushed for today, 180 yards, something like
good.
that.
Yeah,
just absolutely incredible. So not too bad for a conference that clearly can't seem to get any national respect, right?
That's right.
David, this is Johnny. Man, what game in particular that you think that's a great game that's like a low-key game that nobody's really all tuned into? What's a game that the audience, we hearing about all the games going on right now, but what's an underrated game that's better be played that everybody just need to tune into?
Well, the Alamo Bowl with Arizona and Oklahoma, I think is going to be very interesting. Again, you're talking about a team that punched above their weight. We're talking about an Arizona team that went 9-3. And Oklahoma, I tried to tell all these Oklahoma fans who call into our show, Training Company, hey, get ready for this year's edition of Bedlam. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma's going to get the best shot. And after Oklahoma State lost to South Alabama 33-9 or whatever the score was, Oklahoma fans were calling in and they were mocking me for that. And I said, look, I'm not saying Oklahoma State's going to win the football game, but you need to strap it on tight for that. That's going to be one of the last iterations of this in-state rivalry we see. And lo and behold, it was that loss to Oklahoma State that kept Oklahoma from that rematch against Texas in their final Big 12 championship bid. So how motivated are they to come in? They have a lot of changes at quarterback, offensive coordinator, all that, and then an Arizona team that really, again, has punched above their weight. So I'm really interested to see that Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, the game that I was outside of the playoffs, obviously, the bowl game that I was most excited about for most of December was the Peach Bowl, just because this Ole Miss and Penn State matchup I think is going to be fascinating. Ole Miss is just returning so much that is opting into playing in the bowl game, which is fun and refreshing to see. And then that Penn State defense, while they won't have Chop Robinson, that Penn State defense is really as good as it gets. So I was excited about that. But the closer and closer we get to Friday night, I'm telling you, the Cotton Bowl is becoming more and more interesting to me. And it's one of these games, man, Missouri against the Buckeyes, that I'm really starting to get dialed into, mostly because the narrative has just been, of course Missouri's going to win this game. Now, when's the last time? I mean, I think Ohio State all-time is 10-2 against Missouri or 10-1-1 or something like that. So the idea that this Missouri team went 10-2 this year. I mean, you talking about just coming out of nowhere. Eli Drinkowitz, another guy who was on the hot seat, comes out and goes 10-2 this year, and didn't just do so by just some sort of weak schedule. Even though their schedule next year is definitely on the favorable side if you're a Missouri fan. But Eli Drinkowitz just beating everyone in sight this year. Incredible year. And now it's sort of like, well, it's a no-brainer. They're going to beat a Buckeyes team whose starting quarterback, Kyle McCord, entered the transfer portal and is going to Syracuse. And all reports that I'm seeing are that Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to play, and they got a couple opt-outs here and there, and they're hemorrhaging people in the transfer portal. And I'm looking around, and I know too much about this program. Having played at Michigan, I'm telling you, they're 2 deep and they're 3 deep are the guys who are just champing at the bit to be able to get a shot, especially in a bowl game like this. You're talking about the Cotton Bowl. So I see that line has been bouncing around for 2 or 3 weeks, really. So I'm really excited to see what happens in that Cotton Bowl Friday night.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun game. I'm curious your thoughts. Me and Johnny have talked about this a couple of times this week, watching all these bowl games and a lot of interesting things because of what the transfer portal has become. I saw over the weekend Duke's starting running back. He went into the transfer portal and I believe committed to NC State, but was playing for Duke in that bowl game. Grayson McCall, while he's not playing because of injury, he entered the transfer portal, committed maybe to NC State as well. He was on the sideline for their bowl game over the weekend. In this game that's going on right now, Kai Horton, who's starting at quarterback, he's in the transfer portal right now, has not committed anywhere, but is in the transfer portal and is playing for Tulane. What is your opinion on players? Maybe a little different if they're not committed, but especially Duke's running back that was playing already committed to a new school, but playing in his team's bowl game.
This is what I mean when I say that college football is a broken sport.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't even get this right. I think another example was Bryson Barnes at Utah, right?
Oh, that's right,
I mean, this guy's already entered the transfer portal, and they're out here in Utah again. Talk about teams that are motivated to play in bowl games and punched above their weight. Northwestern went 7-5 after all that happened with them in the offseason with Pat Fitzgerald, and they won a single game a year ago. They come in and they beat the back-to-back defending Pac-12 champions in Utah. Bryson Barnes was in the transfer portal yet played in that game. I don't understand this. I need someone to sit me down and explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. How in the world are we allowing guys to hop in the transfer portal before the bowl games are even played, and they're suiting up for a team when they're theoretically have transferred to a team they could be playing?
Mm-hmm.
This guys, I'm telling you, I've been very, very critical of the NCAA, but in large part, their hands are tied because when they do try and come up with some sort of solution to these problems, there is immediately a judge ruling that says no, it's a temporary restraining order.
Right.
No, this is exploitative of the student athletes. You can't dictate when they can transfer, how many times they can transfer, capitalizing on their name, image, and likeness. It's like any attempt to create any parameters is seen as being exploitative of the student athlete, and to me, we have to get beyond that. I know the NCAA is just they're desperate for Congress to act, and we've had Senator Tommy Tuberville on our show. We've had Senator Ted Cruz on our show. Both of them are working on separate legislation. I think getting the United States government involved in college football is about the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
But then again, on the other hand, I'm thinking, well, the NCAA can't come up with any solutions, and until we break away and create one mega conference like Chip Kelly's solution, then I really don't know what else can be done except for Congress to create this PASS Act that was Senator Tuberville's or some other. But yeah, it's absolutely insane. The schedule here, where we take a month of December off, and you have the semester is going to end, or the semester ends in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
But then somehow the bowl games don't get played to the end of the month. So they open the transfer portal up before the semester ends. It's broken, and it can be fixed in so many simple ways. We just need some leadership.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. We're talking David Cohn. He joins us every week, talk college football. You can check him out. He's the co-host of Crane and Company. A lot of people have been talking about Florida State really ever since the college football playoff Final Four was announced. They were on the outside looking in, and as a result, a lot of their guys have either entered the transfer portal or, for the most part, opting out of this bowl game. Tate Rodemaker, their backup quarterback who missed the conference championship game with an injury, but was going to be the starter for this bowl game. He entered the transfer portal over the weekend, and now, I mean, this line is reflective of it. I think Georgia now up to a 19-point favorite, some places a 20-point favorite. How ugly could this game between Georgia and Florida State get because of all of the opt-outs and transfers for Florida State?
Well, it's just so disheartening and so disappointed. Again, I need someone to sit me down and explain it to me like I'm 5 years old.
Yeah.
Again, I got to participate in a Rose Bowl and a Citrus Bowl, two of the highlights of my athletic career. Now, these guys who are opting out, who are surefire first-round picks, I understand that. I understand why Keon Coleman might not want to go out there and get injured before he enters the NFL draft. But I saw two of the top three picks last year in Bryce Young and Will Anderson Jr. suit up for Nick Saban in Alabama. So what is it that those guys are doing to be able to motivate their players? I mean, I thought if ever there was a team who would want to show up in a New Year's Six bowl who didn't quite make the playoff and prove the entire world wrong, it would be this Florida State Seminoles team.
Yeah.
Instead, they seem to have gone the other way, where they're saying like either the entire program needs to put forth the same message and say, you know what, we're not even going to play in the bowl game because you already shafted us. We're just going to crown ourselves national champions or whatever they want to do,
Right.
and we're going to opt out of the bowl game as a team. I would almost be more in favor of that. I know my co-host Jake Crane is in favor of that, saying, look, Florida State just shouldn't even go and play in the game. Instead of having all of these star players sit out the game. And the Tate Rodemaker one, I don't even understand that, because Jordan Travis is not going to come back. And now this kid's not going to play in the bowl game. And you have a Georgia team over there who also is motivated because they missed out on the college football playoff just barely with only one loss to Alabama. So to your question, how ugly could this get? I think Vegas is telling you that this could get very ugly. And, of course, all it's going to do is reinforce the narrative that Florida State never belonged in the first place, even with their backup quarterback, because no one's going to be able to appreciate the nuance of the argument that, well, all of the great players on that team that helped make them so good, especially on the defensive side of the ball, are going to sit out. So incredibly disappointing, and it's getting to the point where I'm not even really that excited to watch this year's Orange Bowl, quite frankly.
David, what do you think? You mentioned Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss early in the segment, because they're top-end transfers, and they also they having a lot of guys playing the game as well. What do other teams got to do to keep that formula? Because Lane Kiffin looked like he's doing it perfectly.
Yeah, well, Lane Kiffin and Deion Sanders are clearly trying to build a program in very similar ways. And I think what's interesting about Lane Kiffin, he's still trying to build the bulk of his program through high school recruiting and then supplementing. But I tell you what, Lane Kiffin has done such a great job of, which is a part of the process no one wants to talk about these days, is re-recruiting your own guys so that they don't hop in the transfer portal. That's what we're talking about with the Nick Sabans and the Kirby Smarts of the world. You saw Texas A&M had the number one recruiting class a couple years ago, right? Well, congratulations. Jimbo Fisher's already lost his job, and a lot of those kids are in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So when you talk about Lane Kiffin, who I've been highly critical of at times, just the way that he operates and goes about his business, I've never been the biggest fan. You look and you sit right here, 10-2 this year with the two best losses in the country, at Georgia and at Alabama, and he's re-recruited his own guys and had a pretty good high school recruiting class that he just signed here in December. That's very impressive, and that's why this Peach Bowl was so interesting to me, because, I think Ole Miss and Penn State are two of the programs in the country who benefit the most from going away from divisions, right? You talk about Ole Miss having the two best losses in the country at Georgia and at Alabama. Well, it's the same for Penn State. Back-to-back years, they've gone 10-2. They lose to Michigan and Ohio all of those years. They're going to benefit greatly from breaking up the divisions and not having to run through the gauntlet of the Big Ten East. And I think both of these programs are going to be motivated in this game. I don't know if Penn State's going to have the offensive firepower to keep up with Ole Miss, but again, if you're able to turn Jackson Dart over a couple times or at least get to him, then I think Penn State's going to have a shot with that defense they have.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to get to the college football playoffs semifinal games, but the news this morning out of Knoxville, Joe Milton's going to opt out of their bowl game, so it's Nico time in Tennessee. A lot of Tennessee fans have been excited. The top quarterback in last year's class, what he could do, but we'll get our first look at him as a starter and in real game action against a really good Iowa defense. What do you expect to see from him this weekend?
Well, honestly, this one's the least surprising of the bunch, and quite frankly, I thought that Nico should probably be named the starter for that game. Again, I don't know what the relationship is between the coaches and Joe Milton. I'm sure they have the utmost respect for him coming in, naming him the starter, then get beating out by Hendon Hooker, coming back this year, being named the starter again, leading Tennessee to 8 wins, even though certainly it was below expectation or desires, I should say. But, if it's a thing where, hey, let's run Joe Milton out there and let him start his final game here, but maybe we get Nico some reps or something like that, then I understand it from a sentimental standpoint. At the same time, if you're going to take a full month off between your bowl games, December is such a great time and a critical time to get young guys reps. I got some of my best reps at Michigan during the month of December when we were preparing for bowl practice. Well, that culminates with a chance for this young kid, Nico, who clearly, they need to get him ready. Joe Milton's not your future. He's headed off. He's going to try his hand in the NFL. You need to get this kid ready. You need to get him game reps. And what better way to do that against one of the best defenses in the country in Iowa? And honestly, while the kid will likely, make some mistakes and have some learning curve in this game, Iowa's still not going to be, in my opinion, going to be able to put up enough points to compete with Tennessee. So to me, it could be a great springboard into next year for this young quarterback, and maybe that is a conversation they had, and perhaps that affected Joe Milton's decision.
Yeah. The college football playoff semifinals are on Monday, on New Year's Day. Alabama, Michigan, Texas, and Washington. Let's start with Alabama and your alma mater, Michigan. What do you expect to see in that game, and who do you think wins?
Well, you guys know I'll lay my biases bare for everyone. I'm going to be rooting for the Michigan Wolverines as hard as I can, just because, I lived through the Rich Rodriguez eras. Those were tough times, and Brady Hoke comes in. He wins 11 games that first year, wins a Sugar Bowl. But, when Jim Harbaugh got the job, it was sort of the thinking was, hey, Michigan got their guy. This guy played quarterback for Bo Schembechler. He led Stanford to 11 and 12 win seasons when he had Andrew Luck. This guy, the 49ers hadn't done anything since Steve Young retired. He leads the San Francisco 49ers back to the Super Bowl. We got our guy, right? So to lose to the Buckeyes, what was it, 6 straight years, something like that. It was very disheartening for a lot of Michigan fans, and these past 3 seasons have been much better, right? Now, You go and you say, well, 2 years ago you get obliterated by a Georgia team who no one in the country was beating them, but you could have at least not lost that badly. And then last year, you get the benefit of having the best draw. You get to play TCU. You lose that game as well. So Jim Harbaugh being 1-5, 1-6 in the postseason, clearly there's something that's going on in that month gap where they're not preparing the way they need to. And you're going up against the guy who's the best to ever do it in the postseason. I mean, 7 national championships. Nick Saban is the greatest that we've seen do it. Now, the roster is very interesting because from a roster standpoint, if you just look at it on paper, you can see why the line is what it is, because Michigan, Jim Harbaugh will enter this game with the best roster that he's had at Michigan, and Nick Saban will enter this game with probably the least elite roster we've seen him make the college football playoff with this year. I mean, we're a far cry from losing to Texas by double-digit points, where Jalen Monroe turns the ball over several times, gets benched. They're in a dogfight on the road against South Florida. We're thinking, man, is Alabama going to win 10 games this year? Now they're in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
And yet everyone is still picking, all the money is rolling in on Alabama to beat Michigan. And why is that? It's because of what we just talked about. I mean, you got one of the coaches on the sideline is the greatest to ever do it in the postseason, and the other guy has struggled. So I think that this will all come down to how does Michigan's defense and defensive coordinator Jesse Minter, how does he play Jalen Monroe? If they overrush him and Jalen Monroe is able to attack those lanes, and if they're able to successfully get some quarterback power and quarterback draw going to open up some of that passing, some of that play action, and they take advantage of that down the field, then it's going to be a long day for Michigan, even though I think the secondary, I'm as proud of this Michigan secondary as I've seen in many, many years. The only problem is on the other side of the ball for J.J. McCarthy, who's clearly, he's shown that he can show up in big games and beat you with his arm. This isn't a team that just has to run the ball like it was 2 years ago when you try and play bully ball against Georgia and you got beat to sleep. J.J. McCarthy has clearly shown now he's a junior. He can beat you with his arms, but Alabama also has 2 All-Americans in the secondary, and they have another one in Dallas Turner who can get after you, and J.J. McCarthy has proven he will put the ball in harm's way. So the thing for me is, how does Michigan's defense play Jalen Monroe? And then on the other side of that, when J.J. McCarthy, is he going to be involved in the run game? And then through the passing game, when he goes full gunslinger mode, do you get Brett Favre the game after his father passed away gunslinger, or do you get the type of gunslinger who throws 3 interceptions and you're trying to fight back down far in the fourth,
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Brett wanted me to get picks for both these games, so who do you got in this one?
Well, I'm going to take Michigan.
Okay.
I got to ride with them. I came all the way this far, and I think, for Michigan to win, you're probably looking at like a 31-27 type game.
I like it. That'd be a lot of fun. The second game, Texas and Washington. We talked a lot this year about Washington. You were very high on them before the season started, and it has really played out very well. What are you expecting in this one between Texas and Washington?
Yeah, look, I'm most proud of my Washington pick this year.
Yeah.
When you do this professionally and you have to pick not just every outcome for playoffs, but every single game in Power 5 football, you get a lot wrong. And so I had Washington in my college football playoff, which was obviously a big risk, especially with how deep and competitive the Pac-12 was this year in their final year of existence. And look, they had to catch some good breaks down the stretch, just like every team does. And now they find themselves in the college football playoff. I think Michael Penix Jr. is really as good as it gets in terms of the delivery of the football. He's one of the best pure passers that I've seen in quite a while, and he's been able to stay healthy this year. That's the thing. We saw what, the Michael Penix of a couple of years ago when he was beating everybody when he was at Indiana. So, the defense has clearly been improved, and they have 3 wide receivers who are going to play on Sundays in the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, most NFL teams don't even have 2 elite corners, right? So you almost never see it in college, and yet Washington's running 3 pro wide receivers out there in Odunze, McMillan, and Polk. So that's a lot to put on a secondary. And now you look at this Texas team. Texas has been playing, to me, as good as it gets. They went down that stretch there when Quinn Ewers went out and Malik Murphy had to come in and just bandage them and get by. So we were wondering, was that going to be that? I mean, that preceded the situation with Florida State, but things could have gotten dicey there down the stretch too, because they already had that one loss in the Red River Shootout to Oklahoma. Ultimately, Quinn Ewers did come back, and the way they finished the season was just an absolute statement. I mean, those wins over Texas Tech and their win over Oklahoma State in the conference championship game. Texas is playing as good as anyone in the country. But what's interesting is how good they are up front in the front 7. Washington really doesn't even want to. I mean, they don't need to run the ball first, right? Yeah. They're one of the few teams that is throw to set up the run, and it clearly worked when they played Oregon. They had a rush for over 150 yards, I think, in probably both those contests. So, how much is Washington going to be able to be effective down the field against what is really the only weak link, I think, in terms of Texas's defense, which is on the outside at the corner position? Are they going to be able to put pressure on Michael Penix Jr., maybe force a couple turnovers? I think that's going to be interesting. And then for Texas on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, this Quinn Ewers-Steve Sarkisian combination is as fun as it gets. When you really go and you look at the tape and you dial up what Sarkisian was calling in that Alabama game and really throughout the season, I think I broke 2 or 3 of their plays down for our Huddle Up segment on Crane and Company. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I think Texas is going to be really, really, really tough to beat, man. They're just a tough out with how balanced they are. But I rode with Washington all the way here. Who would I be to quit on them now?
That's right.
Give me the Washington Huskies to take the national championship.
Man, a Washington-Michigan national championship would be a lot of fun.
And that's what we would have gotten in the BCS era, right? Number 1 versus number 2. So with that being said, undoubtedly now it will be Alabama versus Texas, so you can take all your money and put it on that.
Well, that'd be fun as well. I mean, a rematch of what we saw earlier in the season, both teams playing better than they were then. I mean, I don't know if you could go wrong with any way this playoff shook out into the championship. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. But, David, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy all of these games. Happy New Year. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, David. David Coney joins us every single week to talk college football. Go check out Crane and Company. You can check it out on YouTube. You can check it out wherever you get your podcasts. It is a ton of fun every morning with their show. Johnny, we were going to pick some games here. We ran a little long with David. A lot of good stuff from him today. So let's get to a break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some lines. But before we do that, we'll get to our picks for the games tonight, some of the games early tomorrow. We'll make those picks. We'll look at some lines. We'll do that next on Sports.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
The Wrap Up the Year sales event is on at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. How about 2023 Fiat 500X, $22,990. 2023 Jeep Renegade, $24,990. 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4XE, $499 a month. 2023 Grand Wagoneer 111 4x4, $10,000 off. And 2023 Dodge Charger SXT, $28,990. Now that's the best holiday list you'll find anywhere, and we guarantee it. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
2023 Fiat 500X, stock number PP990492, MSRP 31355, Renegade PPP 75091, MSRP 30040, Wrangler MSRP 69870, Wagoneer PS 508331, MSRP 112285, Charger PH 636172, MSRP 35825, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 12/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers Stay Hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. I like putting parlay bets together, hammering the overs, and anytime player touchdown bets always have me on the edge of my seat. So if you're ready to do the same, visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Uncorn flavor, Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up, down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days. A whole lot of good eating is waiting for you. Our Memphis barbecue tradition, you'll love what we do. Uncorn flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. I am honored that so many Memphians trust Corky's to serve our hickory smoked turkeys and spiral-sliced honey-glazed hams to their families for Thanksgiving and Christmas. This year, let us make it even easier with our holiday feast. Ham or turkey and gravy, and your choice of 2 of our southern sides. Cornbread dressing, sweet potato casserole, mac and cheese, or baked potato casserole. Reserve yours today at corkysbbq.com before we sell out.
Uncorn flavor, Corky's barbecue.
I was afraid to cut the cord, but I'm so glad I did. I was paying way too much for cable. I wasn't finding the shows I wanted, and the prices kept going up. Thankfully, I discovered a new way to watch called Philo. I get to see all my favorite stuff in one spot, anytime I want, anywhere I want, for just $25 a month. Plus, Philo's got unlimited DVR, so I never have to miss anything. It really is the best deal in TV. Try it out for yourself. Go to philo.tv. That's philo.tv and start your 7-day free trial now.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424 MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit dealer.com.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's been a little bit heavy from time to time today on 55 northbound between South Parkway and Macklemore, trying to get up in that construction zone. Still looks good across the bridge here on I-40 as you head over into Crittenden County back into West Memphis. Still holding up right now, 40 east from Sycamore View Road all the way out into Fayette County. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online, tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Johnny with you, and we're going to take a look at some lines here in a second, but we do have to make some picks. I also have the records for everything right now, and these records, I'll update them because this was before that first game happened, and I know I had Tulane. You had Tulane, Johnny. And
that is correct.
I believe Brett had Virginia Tech, if I'm not mistaken. I wanted to go back and try to look. No, Brett also had Tulane. So we all took a loss in that game. Perfect. All right. So here are your updated standings. Brett is currently in first place with a 13-8 record.
Okay.
Bryant, that would be me,
I know,
is in second place with a 12-9 record. So we're only one game off of each other. Johnny is in third place, falling under 500 with a loss in that first game. He is now 10-11 on the season.
No, well, that's the luck of the draw,
That's
man.
what happens. I mean, hey, that's how it plays out. So that's where we stand right now. We've got a handful of games we need to pick today, and we'll start with tonight. Louisville, a 7.5-point favorite over USC. Brett is taking Louisville. I am taking Louisville. Johnny, your pick?
I'm taking USC.
Who?
USC.
Taking the Trojans.
I'm taking the Trojans.
You know they don't have a quarterback.
I just found out.
Both their starting and their future quarterback have both entered the transfer portal. Well, no, I'm sorry. Caleb Williams is going to the draft. The backup quarterback, their future. But I don't think he's actually been their backup quarterback. I think their actual backup quarterback is playing. But the guy that's supposed to be their future is also in the transfer portal. So maybe a good pick for you. I'm going to go with Louisville minus the 7.5. Second game tonight, Texas A&M, a 2.5-point favorite over Oklahoma State. Brett is taking Oklahoma State. Johnny, your pick.
I'm taking Oklahoma State.
I'm also going to take Oklahoma State in this one. Texas A&M, I mean, who has not entered the transfer portal for them? I mean, it's, who knows who's going to play for them. So I'm going to go on the other side here, and I'm going to take Oklahoma State. The third game we have to pick tomorrow morning, the first game of the day tomorrow, SMU, a massive 10.5-point favorite over Boston College. Brett is taking BC. Johnny, who are you taking?
I'm taking SMU, but isn't the quarterback injured, Bryant?
Preston Stone's a good question.
I think
I'll have
he's
to look
injured.
it up at our next break. I'm not positive. That would change my pick. But I'm going to take SMU in this one and hope Preston Stone is playing. I think, like I said, my buddy and all his friends think that they were slighted a little bit because they were not picked to be in the New Year's Six, so I think they have something to prove. I also think they're playing Boston College. Johnny, what conference is Boston College in?
I don't know.
The ACC.
Okay.
What conference is SMU going to?
The ACC.
The ACC. So this is a
Oh,
game.
this is a future matchup.
This is a future conference game. And so I think SMU is going to go in there and say, let's, get our first ACC win. Let's show them what they can expect next year, especially after Florida State in their little lawsuit that they put out on Friday. They kind of threw some shots at SMU, saying that the Big 12 didn't even want SMU, but now the ACC is adding them, and they're not taking any money because of how bad they want to be in this conference. So I think SMU has something they want to prove. Two more games to pick. Tomorrow afternoon, early afternoon, Rutgers, a 1.5-point favorite over the U of Miami. I'm going to take Miami. I know a lot of opt-outs, a lot of transfer portal guys. Tyler Van Dyke isn't going to play, but I think there's a reason that Miami, with a lot of guys, questionable, who knows who's going to play, I think there's a reason that they're only a 1.5-point favorite. I will take Miami. Johnny, who are you taking?
I'm taking Rutgers for the reasons you named. Man, you don't know who's going to play. If I'm not mistaken, Brian, their third-string quarterback going to play as quarterback.
Well, that's interesting. That almost gives me even more of a reason to want to bet Miami, because if you look at all of these games, there is no team that has their starting quarterback out and is not favored.
Yeah.
But they're not favored
that
by
makes sense.
They're underdogs by like 4 points, 5 points, 6 points. So Miami being only a 1.5-point favorite, I think, says something. Brett is going to take Rutgers as well. The last game that we need to pick before we'll get to more picks tomorrow, Kansas State, a 2.5-point favorite over NC State. Brett's going to take NC State. Johnny, who are you taking?
I'm taking NC State too, but why'd you pick Kansas State? Well, I just want to know your reason.
I haven't even said who I picked.
My
yet.
fault.
You just gave out my pick. Yeah, I'm taking Kansas State, Johnny. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I just think when you look at this, NC State, I don't believe their starting quarterback. Their starting quarterback, I didn't think was very good this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's still on the team. I don't know if he's going to be playing in this bowl game. Kansas State, obviously, their starting quarterback is not going to play. He's in the transfer portal right now. I just think Kansas State has more guys. I think they are a tougher team. I think they have more weapons that they can use, and so I'm going to go with Kansas State in this one. They're a 2.5-point favorite. I think they cover it. They can at least win by a field goal over NC State. So that's all our picks for tonight and early tomorrow. As we kind of got wall-to-wall college football really from now until Sunday. I guess there's no games on Sunday because of the NFL, but really we have wall-to-wall football. Unless, sue me because we don't have an 8 a.m. game starting tomorrow. But really, 10 a.m. is pretty early. We've got football on most of the day from now until Tuesday. Because, you're going to have games today all day. You're going to have games all day tomorrow. You're going to have
on the
games
29th.
all day on Friday. You're going to have games all day on Saturday. NFL is going to be playing on Sunday, and then on Monday you're going to have the college football playoff games. So
it actually came by a little fast, man.
It did. It's going to be a lot of fun. We did get a text in. 901 Steve texts in. Not looking good for the Liberty Bowl, y'all. Going to be cold and maybe rain. My weather app says 39 degrees with a 50% chance of rain. I hope my app is wrong. Steve, I saw the same thing this morning. I was excited when I saw this, Johnny. I got a notification this morning from the Commercial Appeal of one of their stories that they thought I would like to read.
Yeah.
And in this story, I took a screenshot of these paragraphs, and I didn't even think. It didn't even hit me. Hey, the Liberty Bowl's on Friday. Look out for snow this week, Mid-South. According to the National Weather Service's forecast, Memphis could see 30% to 50% chance of snow showers on Friday between 3 and 8 a.m.
That's crazy.
Even though this is only going to be a dusting, it could still be the first official snow of the season. During this period of potential snow, the temperatures will reach into the low 30s, with the wind chill reaching as low as 23 degrees. Rain showers could turn to snow beginning early Friday and continue through 8 a.m. before turning back to rain, lasting until the evening. There will be medium cloud coverage in the morning and high in the evening with the pickup in rain intensity. So it does sound like it is going to be a cold and wet Liberty Bowl on Friday, but I hope that doesn't keep Tiger fans from going to the game, because a huge opportunity for the Tigers, not only winning and being a part of another bowl game. I mean, the streak of bowl games they've been a part of has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
But to be able to win a bowl game against a Power 5 conference team like Iowa State, and playing a home game in front of your home fans. I mean, Greg Gaston came on. We'll talk to him a lot about this game tomorrow afternoon. But he came on a couple weeks ago before it was announced that Memphis was going to play in the bowl game, and kind of said, "Who really wants to play in their home stadium for a bowl game?" Like, part of it, and Johnny, you've been on bowl trips with the Tigers. Part of it is getting kind of that vacation and
away from the city.
Away from the city, going to these different cities, and a lot of these, I mean. I know they didn't, the Hawaii Bowl was not very fun because of COVID and everything like that. But, if I'm not mistaken, Memphis was pretty healthy during that. It was really Hawaii that
it was Hawaii's team.
Air quotes, COVID. That was when a lot of players didn't want to play for the coach. They had just fired their coach. A lot going on in there. So I don't really know how much I think it was actually COVID.
I like it, Brian.
But Johnny, I mean, a lot of times when you go to, beach cities, you get a day where team goes out and enjoys the beach and, hangs out
themselves.
or whatever. But it's a lot of, team just bonding, hanging out, enjoying time with each other, but then also taking care of business and doing what you need to do. So, I don't know how many of these guys are jumping for joy that they are playing in the Liberty Bowl, only because, yes, it's a good bowl. It's a great bowl. You're playing a Power 5 conference team, but it's kind of that sense of, we don't get that trip. And so, for them to be able to go out on Friday and see a huge home crowd would certainly mean a lot to a lot of those guys, I think.
Yeah, for sure, man. Especially, I do want the fans to go out, because the seniors will love to see the fans, man. That if you've been paying attention, just like I've been paying attention, Brian, a lot of the older type of guys like Jalen Allen, Simeon Blair, Jacobs Lights, a lot of them been talking about seeing the crowd being in the Liberty Bowl for one last time. So I just think that everybody should just come out. It's going to be a good game, man.
Yeah.
And, man, this is a game that had happened before, so this would be a good redemption story.
It's a rematch of a bowl game. That doesn't happen very often. I don't want anybody to think I'm like, talking bad about the Liberty Bowl.
You wasn't talking bad.
I love the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah.
I grew up on the Liberty Bowl. My dad had a group of friends back in the day. After I was born, it stopped 7 or 8 years ago. My dad went to the Liberty Bowl every single year.
Yes, that's amazing.
With a group of buddies. So I love the Liberty Bowl. I love watching it every year, and I like to go to it as much as I can, as often as I can.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope that 901 Steve texts in. I hope our apps are wrong. I hope that it's better weather.
Brian, we going to be talking about the game here.
We are. We're going to be, if you can't go to the show, please listen in. We'll try to keep as live update as we can. We'll talk about what's going on and see what happens. But we didn't get to look at any early lines. Maybe we'll come back to that around 5:30 or we might do it tomorrow. But I had to make some picks, and I did want to point out maybe some bad temperature, some bad weather for that game. Thanks
Good job,
again,
Brian.
901 Steve, for texting in. Love to hear from Steve whenever we can. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Sports 56 listeners are smart. Smart enough to listen to Sports 56 and smart enough to get 25% off at Oak Court Salon. Ashley Waddell and Lane Lascola are expert stylists at Oak Court, and because they listen to Sports 56 and you listen to Sports 56, Ashley and Lane are giving you 25% off your first appointment. That's for cuts, color, highlights, balayage, Brazilian blowouts, and split-end treatments. Book today and save 25% at sports56.glossgenius.com.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
I can't wait for what's next, even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Johnny, we have dueling weather apps right now.
Really?
We've got a weather app off.
Okay.
I got a text during the break. My buddy Paul.
Okay.
My friend's father.
Shout out to
My
Paul.
old baseball coach.
Good baseball.
We were all right. I had fun, though.
That's good.
But he texted in, and he sent me a picture of his Weather Channel app, and I should apologize. I don't blame myself. When do I blame myself, Johnny? But
no accountability.
Well, you're not the first person to tell me that. Ask my mom or my girlfriend. But he, I didn't look at a weather app. I was just reading the commercial appeal. They said we were going to get rain in the afternoon. 901 Steve texts me in and says we're going to get rain in the afternoon. I'm sorry, shouldn't assume. I just assumed we were going to get rain in the afternoon. He texted me a picture of his weather app. No rain. We're not getting rain.
It's clear. It's clear skies.
We're not getting. I mean, it's cloudy. We're not getting any rain. 20%. I mean, what time? 2:30 is this kickoff, I believe. It's like a 9% chance. The highest we get's a 10% chance of rain. It's not raining at the Liberty Bowl. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be like
it's gonna be cold.
Bundle up. But that's way different
than rain.
Rain
just
if
makes
it's not
it worse.
raining and it's just cold,
rain makes
perfect.
it worse.
Yeah, who cares if it's not raining? Oh, that's great. I love that. Thank you, Paul, for texting in.
Shout out to Paul.
And always listening. Johnny, my big number today, I actually have a couple of big numbers.
Okay.
Both,
I just got one.
Both college football numbers. I'll try to be fast when I give these. My first number, 425. Jason Bean, the quarterback for Kansas last night, he has been their backup quarterback, but he started a lot this season because Jalen Daniels has been injured. He became the first FBS quarterback to throw for 425 or more yards and 6+ touchdowns in his final collegiate game since, take a guess, current NFL quarterback.
Kyler Murray. He the only one popped in my head.
Texas Tech's Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, great stat,
did
Dakis.
so against Baylor on November 25th, 2016. A really good game for Jason Bean last night. A little bit of feast or famine at points of that game. Finished with 3 interceptions, I believe, but did have those 6 touchdowns and looked really, really good. My second big number, we talked about USC. We made some picks for that game tomorrow, and it should be an interesting game. Maybe something to keep an eye on if you're somebody that likes to bet team totals. If you like to, you can go on there and, this team's going to get, over this many points or under this many points. Maybe something to keep an eye on. My big number for my second one, and just a reminder, USC is playing Louisville. I'm sorry, that game's tonight. Something to keep an eye on. USC has allowed 34 points. My big number, 34. They've allowed 34 points in 8 consecutive games, twice as long as the next longest active streak in the FBS, which would be FIU with 4. Prior to this current run, the Trojans' longest streak of allowing 34-plus points in school history was 3. 3 from October 15th to November 5th, 2022. It's happened in the last 8 games this year. And the last time it happened over a 3-week span.
Great job, Brian.
That's incredible. I wonder, I might look up while you're giving us your big number, what the team total for Louisville is tonight, because that might be something to keep an eye on. This defense has been really bad for USC this year.
Brian, you mentioned losing. So guess what my big number is?
27 is going to be my big number.
27, Brian.
27.
27 because we all have witnessed history. The Detroit
and
Pistons.
Maybe more history coming for
Brian,
Detroit.
I'm trying to get a big number of 30, man. I want to keep watching this Detroit Piston team lose, man.
Yeah, such a bad
Let me tell you something, man.
Tell me
this something. This is what NBA basketball is.
It's
bro.
not.
Yes, it is, bro.
It's not
I
what
love
NBA basketball is all
history,
about.
man. I love history, man.
Yeah.
I just witnessed history just like how you witness history, man.
Yeah, all the greats up there.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a Cade Cunningham jersey now, man.
Jordan, LeBron,
Cade Cunningham,
Kobe Bryant,
Cade Cunningham,
and the 23-24 Detroit Pistons.
Cade Cunningham jersey.
Ridiculous.
Might even get a Monty Williams bobblehead.
Oh my gosh, Monty Williams. I mean, good lord, I feel bad for him because it is really rough right now. You can get a team total at about 32.5 right now on your sports book. So, man, I'm just saying they've given up 34 points and. However many straight games, 8 straight games, maybe something to keep an eye on tonight, Johnny. Just keep an eye on it as that game's going to get started here in a couple of hours. That game, 7 o'clock on Fox, Louisville, and USC. And then an hour after that, at 8 o'clock, we'll have Texas A&M and Oklahoma State. So a really fun night of bowl games, and they'll continue to roll tomorrow morning with an early one between SMU and Boston College. Well, we need to wrap up our second hour, get to a break, and when we come back, we're talking college basketball with Kevin Sweeney.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Is your phone plan messing with your savings plan? Don't get stuck paying for things you don't want. With Verizon, you only pay for what you need. And for a limited time, when you bring your own phones to a Verizon store, you'll get an amazing price on your plan. Plus, you'll save on things you actually love, like the Netflix and Max with Ads bundle. And it's on our award-winning 5G network. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today for an incredible deal. A better plan to save is Verizon. Additional terms and conditions apply.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park, we got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Plenty of radar spotted earlier on I-40 out towards Forest City, traveling through that section of Arkansas. Give yourself a little bit of extra time. It's a little bit busy over here on 240 east from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online right now at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Johnny with you. No Brett Norsworthy today. He's still on vacation. We'll be back on Tuesday, but we got to talk some college basketball. And joining us like he does every single week, Kevin Sweeney joins us now from College Basketball Central. You can follow him on Twitter at CBB_Central, also at Sports Illustrated. He joins us now. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start with the Tigers. They barely escaped Vanderbilt at home on Saturday, but a win's a win. One more game for them in non-conference against Austin Peay before they start the conference schedule to start the new year. But overall, with most all of the non-conference schedule behind them, what have you made of, we talked before the season and at the start of the season of Penny Hardaway going out there and creating a really tough non-conference schedule, but then being able to go out there and take advantage of it. What have you made of this Tiger team this year?
Yeah, I mean, they're off to the type of start you'd want. Certainly that Vanderbilt game wasn't pretty. It's the type of game that I think very early on you just kind of realize, all right, like whatever it takes to get out of there with a win. Don't worry about the metrics. Don't worry about whatever. Like, got to find a way to win it. They did. And assuming no issues with Austin Peay, I mean, they'll have a chance to really post the number. And climb the seed list pretty quickly. This resume is going to be pretty impressive. I think, certainly there's a lot of potential landmines in AAC play, but with that, a lot of very winnable games, right? They're not walking into with a gauntlet of the SEC or the Big Ten where you're going to take 5, 6, 7 losses. Like, they have a chance to be very, very high in the national rankings when we flip into February if all things go well.
You talked about the seed line a little bit. How high do you think this Tiger team could get? Like you said, if they can go in, obviously they could trip up here and there in conference play. But if they go in there, they have a pretty good conference record. How high can this Tiger team go? I've seen them at 4. I've seen them in the 5 seed. I've seen them as high as the 3 seed. How high do you think realistically this Tigers team could be in March?
Yeah, I think the 3 is probably the sweet spot where, they have some quality wins in the non-conference, then rip through the league. Maybe there's a world where if you won out, which, is not out of this realm of possibility, right? I mean, you're talking FAU is the only, truly substantial test left.
Yeah.
If you won out, you'd have a real case, I think, for a 2 seed. And heck, I mean, maybe even steal that last one. But I think that 3 through 6 range is where they'll land, and that's a improved spot from where they've been when they've been stuck in those 8, 9, 7, 10 games. Those are tough to get out of the first weekend. I think getting up there into the upper echelons of the bracket really does do a great service to this Memphis team.
Absolutely, and we've been talking, here locally, just kind of these last couple of years. Like you said, you're just stuck in that 8-9 game, and really one of the worst spots to be in when you're in the tournament. And so, if you can make that jump from 8-9 all the way up to 3, I mean, that's a massive success for this season.
100%. I mean, and especially given that he had to basically rebuild this entire roster, right? I mean, this is not. This is not easy to do. There was a point in this offseason where things looked a little bit shaky, and obviously part of that's the later availability of certain players, including mid-season with Tomlin. But just a tremendous credit to Penny for building a team that was ready to play from early in the season. It's obviously been a concern in the past, and he had them playing great basketball in November and December, and that's really important when you're talking seeding.
One, David Jones has been electric for this Tiger team this year. And here locally, people are talking about him maybe being able to be an All-American this year. What do you think his chances are of being kind of in that conversation? What have you made of the job he's done after stops at DePaul and St. John's, then coming down to Memphis and really taking advantage of an opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, the knocks on him coming in were, number 1, consistency, number 2, shooting, and number 3, lack of winning. He's done all 3 of those things. He's been consistent. He scored 22-plus points in 6 or 7 straight games. He's made shots. He's shooting 40+% from 3, and he's winning. He's 10-2, top 15 type team in my opinion. So he's done everything you could ask, and I will have my full mid-season All-Americans out on Friday over at SI.com, so you can check those out. But a little teaser to Tigers fans: he will be a first-team All-American on my ballot. It's very close. There's tight. It's very tight in that top 10 players in the country mix, but I think he has played his way onto that list so far this season. Obviously, has to maintain it, but he is certainly in that conversation early on.
That would be massive, and certainly massive that he's on your list for midseason. You mentioned FAU, obviously the biggest test for the Tigers in the American. They go out over the weekend in Las Vegas and beat Arizona. It took double overtime in what was an unbelievable game. What do you make of this FAU team? Because here, obviously, because they're in the conference, a lot of Memphis fans want to talk about, they lost to Bryant, and they're just that Cinderella team, easy for me to say. They're just that Cinderella team that's still kind of riding that wave of what they did last year, but then they go out against a top 5 team and a really good team in Arizona and beat them.
Yeah, I mean, their resume is quietly pretty awesome. And the Bryant game is the Bryant game. But, a few notes there. I mean, first of all, Bryant is now like a fringe, is in the top 200 in Ken Pom. Like, they are not a good team by any means, but they are not a dreck of college basketball. Like, that team will be competitive in its conference to win the American East. And FAU shot 30% from the field. It was without a healthy Elijah Martin. He played off the bench. He wasn't himself, right? Like, they weren't the team that they are now. Mm-hmm. And every team's entitled one slip-up. Beyond that, their resume is monstrous. I mean, 3 neutral court wins over high major teams in Orlando. Sweep that, tremendous mid-major challenge with Liberty and Charleston, beat St. Bonaventure, arguably the favorite in the A-10, and then win on a neutral court, but essentially a road game against Arizona. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have earned all of the love and all of the hype. Now, will they win the American? I don't know. I mean, I think it will be a true toss-up. I think they're probably a little bit more vulnerable. I think they're a little bit more vulnerable than Memphis just because of athletically. I don't think they're going to overwhelm the mid-tier of this league, the same way that Memphis will be able to do. Mm-hmm. But they are incredibly well-connected. They're incredibly well-coached, and they have real talent. I mean, John L. Davis has been tremendous, especially lately. Vlad Golden has made a jump. So I think they've earned the right to be that top 15 type team, and certainly that Arizona win will pay dividends throughout the rest of the season and last Sunday.
Absolutely. Well, I've seen a lot of people this week talking about Auburn. They're 9-2 right now and have won 4 games in a row after losing on the road to Appalachian State. They're right outside. If you extended the top 25, they'd be number 26 in the AP poll. But they're right outside, and a lot of people are pointing to the metrics. They're number 10 on Ken Pom. They've got top 20 in both offense and defensive efficiency on Ken Pom. How good is this Auburn team? And they've got 2 more non-conference games, but how much of a challenge could Bruce Pearl's team be this year in the SEC?
I mean, I thought in the preseason they had kind of dark horse Final Four potential, and wow. I certainly still believe that. I mean, they have been outstanding so far. Now, they have an interesting resume, and that they really haven't beaten anyone they weren't supposed to beat, and they also haven't really lost to anyone they weren't supposed to lose to. I mean, Appalachian State, probably not a great one, but that's an Appalachian State team that's top 100 in Ken Pom, will be a factor to win the Sun Belt. Like, that is a dangerous Appalachian State team. You play them on the road, it is what it is. So the resume doesn't quite stack up with the efficiency numbers and the metrics, and I understand that, but I think they will in time prove their worth. I mean, Aiden Holloway, their freshman point guard, has been incredibly explosive offensively. Chad Baker, Mazzara, and Denver Jones, and a couple of other transfers have really just stabilized their backcourt, right? I mean, you think about Auburn last year, they had such talent in the front court with Janai Broome, but Katie Johnson and Wendell Green, the highs were high, but the lows were too low. Mm-hmm. And I think this year, this team's a little bit more stable. And when Bruce Pearl has had stable teams in the backcourt, they've been as good as anyone in the SEC. And I think they have a chance to be right there in that conversation again this year.
Yeah. We're talking to Kevin Sweeney. He joins us every single week to talk college basketball. You can check his work out at Sports Illustrated. Last week when we talked to you, there were some really exciting games that night, one of them being Duke and Baylor. Duke gets the win. John Shire gets his first win over a top 10 opponent. What do you make of this Duke team? Because they've kind of been up and down to start the year. They've lost some games. I think a lot of people would think that they should win. They lost a close one against Arizona, but then they go out, lose back-to-back games against Arkansas and Georgia Tech. As they get ready to start conference play, what have you thought about the start of the season for Duke?
Yeah, but that was a gritty win over Baylor. An important game for them. No Tyrese Proctor. how do you respond when you really need that resume win? And those freshman guards, Caleb Foster and Jared McCain, step up, combined for 33. That's really the intriguing part of this Duke team. Is, all right, you have Kyle Filipowski, you have Jeremy Roach, a veteran scorer who's going to average 15 a game. You have Proctor once he's healthy off the ankle. And then you have these two freshmen. If they're consistent, this is all of a sudden one of the best backcourts in the country, combined with an elite big in Filipowski. And you can deal with some of the warts. You know, they're a little bit small on the wings. You know, defensively they have some issues. Like, you can live with all those warts because you have elite guard play and one of the best bigs in the country.
Right.
When those guards have not played well, they've looked very beatable. I think those guys are going to continue to get better. I think Jared McCain and Caleb Foster have shown that they can make big shots in big games. Their confidence level is really high. I think Shire's done a good job of kind of pouring into them and not letting them waver early in the season when things haven't gone their way. And a game like Baylor is just an awesome kind of building block for them. You know, I'm still in on Duke. You know, I don't know that they're the top 3 team that everyone had them in the preseason, but I certainly wouldn't be selling all my stock. I think they'll be right in the mix in the ACC.
Yeah, certainly. One of those teams I mentioned they lost to earlier in the season, Georgia Tech, first year under Damon Stoudemire. A lot of people here locally are really rooting for Damon. He was on staff here at Memphis before taking over at Pacific. Now at Georgia Tech, and they're 8-4 right now. Looked pretty good out in Hawaii at the Diamond Head Classic. They've got wins over Mississippi State and Duke already this year as they get ready for conference play. What have you made of the job Damon Stoudemire has done in his first year at Georgia Tech, and how good can this team be in conference play?
Yeah, I think the thing that Damon proved at Pacific was that he was willing to roll up his sleeves and get dirty. You know, he proved he could recruit and identify under-the-radar players, right? Like, he wasn't walking in, putting his rings on the table, saying, here's what I've accomplished, here's why you have to come play for me. He was willing to go get gritty, under-the-radar dudes, and I think that has helped him at Georgia Tech. They have multiple freshmen in this rotation, guys who are overlooked, undervalued. Their starting point guard right now, Nathan George, had 0 offers of any kind, not just high major, any Division I offers in July of this year. He was playing at Peach Jam. I watched him play against Dylan Harper, and I was like, who is this kid? A month later, he surfaces at Georgia Tech. Now he's starting a point guard, right? Like, that's the level of coach that David Stoudemire is, to discover some of these under-the-radar talents. Faye Dongo has also been terrific, another freshman. So they've got a bright future. I think they're probably more like an NIT team this year than a tournament team. But to get some big wins and get these young guys experience has been really critical.
Yeah. UConn, defending national champions. We were talking about injuries earlier. Donovan Clingan, he's out, expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks with a tendon injury in his right foot. How big of an injury is this for UConn as they're starting conference play? He was injured earlier in the season, missed the start of the year. I believe they've had some other injuries at UConn, guys just getting back onto the court. How much does this injury affect UConn?
Yeah, it's a huge loss. For a number of reasons. Number one, you lose them for a month of Big East play. That might be the difference between winning and losing the Big East championship, which matters to them. Obviously, they didn't win it last year before winning the national title. They want it back. This will hinder them quite a bit. They don't have a ton of front court depth behind him. The other thing is he's a 7-footer with multiple foot injuries in the span of 3 months. Yeah. I mean, he already was a little slow for most of December after he came back from the initial foot injury, and only really started to hit his stride there late in the month when they played UConn, they played Gonzaga out in Seattle. And for him to then get hurt immediately again, I mean, that's very scary. With 7-footers, we know the history with foot injuries. So, I'm certainly optimistic that we'll see him again as soon as possible, but I'm not sure we'll see him at 100%. And UConn really does need to, and I'm sure they will, need to be judicious with him because he has such a bright professional future, and we don't want to blow that over games here in February. So hopefully he's back soon. It's important to get him back because I think it's going to be a tall order for them to win the Big East championship without him.
Kevin, I got a 2-part question. I'll ask them separately. With us, we're over the weekend, I guess, is New Year's Day. We'll be in 2024 next time we talk to you. So through kind of non-conference play for a lot of these teams, who's been the biggest surprise team or maybe a couple of surprise teams that have kind of caught you off guard to start the year?
a good question. I think probably the biggest surprise in my mind would be BYU.
Yeah.
I mean, for them to, I don't know how real the top 5 10-palm number really is at this point, but for them to go from pick 13th, and quite frankly, I think you went into the year saying, I don't know how BYU ever really competes in the Big 12. How are they going to get talent? How are they going to match up with Kansas and Texas and Baylor and all the elite coaches and talent acquisition guys in that league? For them to be out to the start they are is huge, not just for this year, but really for the program's trajectory.
And on the other side of that, biggest disappointment this to start the season?
Oh, another tough one. Yeah, I mean, it probably would have been Michigan State until a week ago, but they've really bounced back. Got the win over Baylor, looked dominant here in the last couple bye games that they've played. I think probably to me like a under the radar team that I have been a little bit underwhelmed with is Alabama. And the metrics still love them, but at 7-5, I just felt like with the talent, you'd find a way to win one or two of these big ones. The fact that they haven't, sets them up to really need to do some work in the SEC to earn a strong seat on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned Michigan State, a really scary story over the weekend. Their freshman Jeremy Fears got sent to the hospital after being shot at a house party. Was with some friends. He was at home for the holidays and had to go to the hospital after being shot. I think he got released either today or yesterday from the hospital, but he's going to miss a lot of time. And a guy that came off the bench, gave them some good minutes here and there, but I mean that was a scary situation over the weekend.
Yeah, he had earned a little bit of his trust finally, and to lose him from their rotation, obviously, a blow to Michigan State, certainly secondary to his health. I will say there was a kind of a strange karma involved there. Izzo was interviewed right before the kids went home for Christmas break and said, I'm not worried about kids anymore. Like I used to get worried that someone would go shoplift for Christmas gifts, but now they all have their NIL money and they're fine. And then a day later,
Lord.
Freshman point guard gets shot. I mean, it was just one of those things you couldn't script. But, kind of classic Izzo foot in mouth. But yeah, I mean, thankfully it sounds like he's doing all right. Whether he's out for the season or not, certainly his future certainly bright, and hopefully he'll be back on the court.
Yeah, really scary. Last thing for you, Kevin, before we let you go. Last week we were talking about Louisville and Kentucky, a big game for both those teams. But it sounds like Louisville is going to keep Kenny Payne around. Their AD came out and said that he's going to remain the coach into the new year. There's been some rumors, some speculation, some reporting going around that this could all be a money thing. You talked last week about who are you going to get at interim. It doesn't sound like anybody on staff really wants to take over. What did you make of the news that sounds like for the time being they're going to stick with them, and where do you think this all stems from of the reasons behind them keeping them?
Yeah, it's still a very tenuous situation for Kenny Payne. I don't necessarily expect that this means he will make it through the regular season, just that they are not going to make a move off the Kentucky game, whether that's off the Virginia game or the Pitt game or the Miami game, right? Like it will be day to day for the rest of the season. But I think the issue is more so at the hand of what does a succession plan look like for the remainder of the season than the money. I mean, the money, I think they could potentially save $2 million if they wait not just until the end of the season, but until March 31st, which would be pretty substantial time to lose in the portal. I don't anticipate them being willing to wait that long. At a program like that, you got to fund the $2 million. To me, it's more about the succession plan from what I've heard and what that looks like for the remainder of the year. I just don't think Louisville at this point is comfortable with what that looks like. And for now, we'll let Kenny Payne continue to take some bullets.
It just gets wilder and wilder seemingly every day with what goes on at Louisville in that basketball program. But Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. Always a lot of fun talking hoops with you. Happy New Year, and we'll do it again next week.
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Kevin. Kevin Sweeney, he joins us every single week to talk college basketball. Go follow him on Twitter, especially if you like college basketball.
For sure.
He does a great job covering the sport. Very active on Twitter, or X, if you want to call it that. Johnny, we've talked about this before, refuse to call it X.
I don't call it
It's Twitter to me.
It's natural.
It's always Twitter to me. It's always been Twitter. It always will be Twitter to me. Maybe I'm starting to sound like an old man or something. I'm stuck in my ways.
Stuck in your ways.
But seriously, go follow Kevin on Twitter. He does a really great job.
He also just a great guy, man.
Yeah, and really, again, maybe I'm crazy, but I love watching mid-major basketball, some of the smaller teams, and he does a good job, talking about that when it needs to be talked about. So always fun talking to Kevin. He joins us 5 o'clock every single Wednesday afternoon. Johnny, a little bit of a score update here. West Virginia up 7-0 over North Carolina.
Just my luck.
But North Carolina's driving. They just did get a penalty. But
just my luck.
They're kind of driving. They've got a quarterback in here. I don't know if this is their backup or if this is their third string. I looked up yesterday. We were talking off air, Johnny, of who was going to start for North Carolina.
Yeah, we were.
And they showed the guy who's starting right now. They flashed his name up on the screen a couple minutes ago, and I can't remember what his name was, but I don't think it was the name that I thought was going to be starting. Maybe it is. Connor Harrell is starting right now.
He's the guy.
He is a freshman from Alabama. I do not think this is the guy that I thought they were going to be playing. Right now, he's got, in North Carolina, just tacked on a field goal, so 7-3. And the kicker just pushed one of West Virginia's players. What is going on?
I like
it. It's a very light push, but still, what are we doing? Connor Harrell, their quarterback they've got in right now, he's 5 for 7. For 70 yards. He does have one interception, but right now, Johnny, he is leading the team in rushing with 49 yards on the ground on 8 carries. He has a long of 17 right now as we're in the second quarter. At the Duke's Mayo Bowl, somebody's coach is going to have mayo dumped all over him.
I like it. Let's see who gets
Disgusting.
it done.
Gross.
Hopefully.
Would you have mayonnaise dumped on you?
No, Brian.
What condiment would you have dumped on you? If you had to pick a condiment to be dumped on you.
Barbecue sauce.
That's a good answer.
How about you?
I mean, probably barbecue sauce. That's a good answer. I mean,
man, mayonnaise smell bad.
It's just gross. I mean, I don't like mayonnaise.
Imagine mustard.
Hey, I wouldn't pick mustard. I mean, the only really condiment I use is ketchup.
Okay, that's a solid.
Sauce, but I use barbecue sauce.
Them are two solid.
I don't think I want ketchup dumped on me.
No.
I think I'd rather have barbecue sauce. But barbecue sauce is kind of sticky sometimes. Like
that's the only thing.
I don't know if I want barbecue sauce on me. But it's interesting. Like these bowls, and I think nowadays with kind of the landscape of bowls, I think you have to be creative. Like the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl.
They're very creative with this.
We're gonna dump mayonnaise on the winning coach because guess what, Johnny? Everybody's been talking about. Oh, today's the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Somebody's going to have mayonnaise dumped on their
Everybody
head.
looking forward to it.
Everybody's looking forward to it.
The Pop-Tart Bowl.
Pop-Tart Bowl. Did you
the
see
mascot.
See their trophy?
No, I didn't.
Their trophy has, so it's. I'm going to try to describe it as best I can for an audio form of media. It's basically just a regular trophy. It's got a football on top of it, kind of on like a little stand. It's got a football on top of it. And on the football, there are 2 openings.
Okay.
Where you can put Pop-Tarts. And so they showed they had their press conference or whatever, and they had the trophy there, and they had 2 Pop-Tarts sitting in it. So that's creative.
That's very
Obviously,
creative.
they made headlines because they said the winning team would be able to, after the game, the winning team would take a bite out of the edible mascot.
Yes, they did.
And everybody's like, what does that mean? So I don't know if they're just going to have Pop-Tarts in the trophy.
Well, I think they made one big Pop-Tart.
What's your favorite Pop-Tart, Johnny?
Had to be either blueberry or strawberry.
I like strawberry. I think my favorite though is probably brown sugar cinnamon.
Oh, that's a solid Pop-Tart.
That or
right?
strawberry. As a kid, I loved s'mores Pop-Tarts. Those are really
That's
good
a good
as well.
one. That's a good one.
I haven't had one in a long time. But
we're a little older now.
Brown sugar. What's that supposed to mean? I can't enjoy a s'more Pop-Tart?
Well, Brian, you're getting a little older, man. Don't move like I used to.
I mean, good Lord. I'm either a brown sugar cinnamon or a strawberry guy. I haven't had a Pop-Tart in a minute, though. Maybe I'll go buy some tonight. And when is the Pop-Tart Bowl? I'm certainly eating Pop-Tarts.
We got to eat Pop-Tarts while watching the Pop-Tart
Absolutely. Bowl. Well, let's go ahead, get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just 1 pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or Sweet Maple Bourbon, the taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open, the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Appleton and Kirby-Whitten and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Did you know some ordinary cold medicines can raise your blood pressure? That's alarming! Fortunately, there's Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. It's specially formulated without alcohol, sugar, or decongestants to provide fast, powerful cold and flu symptom relief for people with high blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure, try DayQuil High Blood Pressure, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, colds, and flu for people with high blood pressure medicine. Use as directed and keep out of reach of children.
Merry Christmas from Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. We're here to make your holiday season extra cozy and cheerful. For the first 50 customers who purchase a new Carrier system or tankless water heater, we have a special gift for you. Choose from a free 75-inch smart TV, a PlayStation 5, an Xbox X, a Nintendo Switch, or a $500 gift card on us. It's our way of spreading holiday joy. But hurry, this festive offer will only last through December 24th. Enjoy a comfortable Christmas and a special present from Choate's. Because when you choose us, you're not just a customer, you're family. Schedule your free estimate today at 901-347-8086. Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Let our family serve your family this holiday season. Wishing you a warm and joyful Christmas from Choate's.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine, Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
It's the hometown Memphis Tigers taking on Iowa State in this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Plus, Memphis music legends, the Barkays, will be there performing the music that made Memphis, and you'll want to be there too.
Everybody say, Solvinga! Say, Solvinga!
It's all happening Friday, December 29th at 2:30. Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Most of the major outbound routes have been in pretty good shape out here the last couple of hours. Traffic's just now starting to pick up in certain sections of Sam Cooper going outbound, trying to get back up on the interstate. It's not bad, actually, on 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out into Fayette County. However, a little bit of radar out in Fayette County just past 269 on 40 going eastbound. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Once again, here are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman?
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Johnny with you. We got a little bit less than 30 minutes left in today's show. And, Johnny, we have a caller who wants to talk.
He want to talk 49ers.
He wants to talk 49ers.
And he want to make his case why Christian McCaffrey is the MVP. Man.
Okay.
Okay, so.
That's what you said earlier. You said that he's the
MVP.
MVP.
I I'm probably having to change of heart, man.
Really?
I'm probably having to change of heart right now, man. But
Okay, so you don't think Christian McCaffrey's
I don't, man.
Okay,
I
all
don't.
right. Well, let's hear J-Dog on the line. J-Dog, what's up? You want to talk 49ers?
Yeah, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just trying to get everybody to realize Lamar Jackson is not an MVP quarterback.
Oh my goodness.
Why? So what? Who do you think's MVP? Or you Christian McCaffrey? That's what Johnny was saying.
If they don't give it to McCaffrey and it goes to a quarterback, it has to be somebody like that. It has to be.
Really? Okay, okay, Janoris. We had this conversation yesterday, man. Quick backstory: me and Janoris.
You know each other.
Yes, we worked together with Memphis football.
Okay.
Shout out to Memphis football, by the way. Shout out to Mr. Mark.
Shout out Memphis football.
But okay, Janoris. Lamar Jackson. You know what? Earlier,
Betting favorite right now.
Earlier, thank you, Brian. But earlier during the show, Brian, you heard me say Christian McCaffrey is the MVP. Brian, more and more I just think about it. Lamar's the MVP.
But what is
Lamar's the MVP of the league.
Done that makes you think
Lamar
that?
Jackson done.
Yeah. It was the defense in that
Wait,
game against the 49ers.
Wait, one at a time, right? Hey, Brian, you my guy now. Come on,
I mean, I'm
Brian.
just asking. I want to hear both sides of this.
Brian. Okay, now let's look at these numbers, man. Look, Lamar come up in big time games, man.
Okay.
He comes up in big time moments, man. We all watched the 49ers game. We did as well. Lamar, he did it on the ground, and he also did it in the air. Lamar Jackson, I'm going to be honest, he don't really have no weapons. Hey, correct me if I'm not. Mark Andrews out. Am I not right?
Yeah.
And that's the number one option, Brian. He got Likely, who developed good. Zay Flower, who has been a solid rookie for him. And Odell Bell, Odell Beckham. That's my guy, but let's be honest. Odell's not the same guy no more, Brian.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. Every game, he showed up and they won, man. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I mean, I completely agree with the fact that if it's going to be a 49ers player, it's got to be Christian McCaffrey and not Brock Purdy. And I've been saying that since the start of the season. Brock Purdy is an okay quarterback surrounded by playmakers. So I like Christian McCaffrey a lot. I am a Tyreek Hill guy. I'm in favor of Tyreek Hill winning this.
And that's a solid guy to go for.
Yeah.
That's a solid guy. J-Dog, I got a question, man.
Well, I want to hear his reasons for Christian McCaffrey. I'm sorry not to cut you off.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
Your reasons for Lamar.
Go ahead.
J-Dog, what are your reasons for Christian McCaffrey to win the MVP?
All right, if you look at McCaffrey's stats, he got 1,395 rushing yards. That's 603 yards away from 2,000.
That's true.
Which you can possibly get. If he can average 150 between these last two games, that'll put him at 300.
That's a lot of yards
with his stats. So, and he gonna get a chance to play at least 2-3 playoff games at the most.
Yeah.
So he could possibly get 2,000 yards, and he has 14 touchdowns on the ground and 7 in the air. Also, he scored a touchdown every week besides 1 week. Where if you look at Lamar Jackson's stats, if you're going to be an MVP as a quarterback, you got to lead the NFL in passing yards. So you got to have some games where you're throwing at least over 200 or 300 yards. It's been games Lamar Jackson hasn't thrown a touchdown at all. It's been games he ain't reached over 200 yards, and he only had like 2-3 games where he done had at least 300 yards passing. And he only got 19 touchdowns on the season. That's not MVP caliber as a quarterback.
Okay.
Good argument.
I hear what you're saying.
It's a good argument.
But Brian, like it or not, me and you both talked about this. What is MVP, man? That's a quarterback award, right?
I mean, it has been. I don't think it should be a quarterback award. But I'm literally I'm sitting here saying I think Tyreek Hill should be the MVP.
We know what
it's most valuable player, not most valuable quarterback.
Brian, we all know what we want, but we always don't get what we want, Brian. Brian,
is this the life's not fair call?
Brian, life ain't fair, Brian. And Brian, we all know a quarterback's going to get the award, and they're going to give it to Lamar, especially if Lamar went out for the rest of the regular season. He's getting the award.
It's an interesting.
Let me tell you,
give it to a quarterback, they got to light up the NFL, man.
Janoris,
he ain't even got 30, close to 40 touchdowns. Dak's sitting at 30 now. and he almost at 4,000 passing yards.
J-Dog.
Lamar got, what's up?
Man, I have love for you, bro, but I'm going to be real. We all want something, but we just won't get it, man. I love the numbers that you bringing out. I'm glad you came prepared to come on the radio. Me and Brian, we are excited for this moment. But let me tell you this, man. I'm just being honest. We both know, me, you, Brian, we all know that at the end of the day, Lamar's going to get this MVP, especially if he went out. If he went out. I'm not saying it's fair. I said Christian McCaffrey. Honestly, I feel like he should win.
It's been 2 hours. You changed your entire stance on who you think's going to win MVP.
Hey, man.
And I'm starting to think it's because our friend here is saying Christian McCaffrey, and you just want to be different. You just want to be argumentative.
Hey, man, don't do that, Brian.
I'm just saying.
It makes sense, man. If you're gonna give that award to a quarterback, they have to have the numbers, man. And like you say, Lamar, he don't have the weapon. Okay,
he don't.
But what about a great quarterback like Tom Brady?
You compare.
People argue he didn't have a big time receiver.
That's true.
But look at what he done over his career. That's not an excuse for Lamar Jackson.
Wait 1 second, my brother. Hey. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Brian, correct me or not. Brian, correct me or not. He said Tom Brady never had no great receiver, right? He had Randy Moss, Hall of Famer. He had Rob Gronkowski. He had Julian.
Tight end, not a receiver.
Hey, man, let's go to. Do we want to talk about Julian Edelman?
Nah, Julian, I do.
Wes Welker? Oh, okay. Let's talk that talk with me, bro.
Okay. So what about the year he went and they beat Atlanta? Who did he have on his team then?
He had Julian Edelman. Well, he had me, you, and Brian.
I mean, yeah, he did.
Right.
He had a lacrosse player.
He had a lacrosse player out there. Hey, man, but you know what?
Regardless of who you got to make it work, man.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting thing. It's going to be an interesting race down the stretch.
It is.
And we'll see who comes out on top. J-Dog, thanks so much for calling. I did not know that I wouldn't have called you J-Dog, but that's what,
That's his name.
Johnny has been referring to you as your real name, and J-Dog is what's put up there. But thanks so much for calling, man. Please call in again. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you for allowing me to be on the show, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again to J-Dog for calling. It's going to be interesting to see what happens because I think this could go a lot of different ways. But
me too.
Johnny, I don't want a quarterback to win it because I think there are really good players at the receiver position, at the running back position, that are better than what the quarterbacks have done. Look, here's the thing. Tom Brady has gone on record and has said there's really mediocre play at quarterback in this league.
He ain't lying.
And we wanted to push back on it, but I think he's kind of right. Cam Newton comes out 4 weeks ago when your leaders in the clubhouse for MVP were Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, and then I guess Lamar was behind them. But those were your top three.
Yeah, he was down bottom.
But I think Cam Newton put Lamar in the conversation, said these are all game managers. None of these guys are difference makers at the quarterback position. And at the time, everyone was going, You're crazy. You're crazy. Look at these guys. Look at all the wins. Look at what they're doing out there.
You missed a player. He said Tua, too.
He said Tua.
He did say Tua.
And you look at Dak Prescott has struggled at times. Jalen Hurts has struggled at times.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, when he didn't have his guys out there, really struggled. In last game, had 4 interceptions. Tua, when he didn't have Tyreek Hill, he really struggled. Starting to think these quarterbacks that have been in the league know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I agree. Like, they have struggled, but we talked about history on this show, man. I would love to see a non-quarterback win the award, if I want to be honest.
And I like all of those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think they are really good quarterbacks. But maybe it's just me wanting this award to, go to somebody that's not a quarterback for once because of the seasons that Tyreek Hill is having, the seasons that Christian McCaffrey is having. You could go down the list of other guys, but I certainly think those are the top 2.
Yeah.
I would rather one of those guys win it.
Brian, we talked about history, man, and that is making history. We haven't seen, me and you for sure haven't seen a running back get the award since Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
And a receiver never won the award for MVP. But, Brian, I don't like it. You don't like it. And Janoris don't like it. My dog, J-Dog, he don't like it. But at the end of the day, they going to give it to a quarterback. And you said it right now, Lamar is the leading go-getter right now for the MVP.
Yeah, I think minus 160 last time I checked. I can check again, but I think earlier today I checked it, or maybe it was yesterday I checked it, and he was minus 160. So, he's certainly a big lead right now in the MVP race, and I think, and he's a good player. He's played really, really well. And I think, the thing about Lamar is you can't just look at his passing yards because he is also a threat with his legs.
Yes, he is.
And that has to go into it when you're talking about MVP, because this isn't most valuable quarterback where you're just looking at passing yards and this and that. It's most valuable player. It's all around game of a player, and so I think he's certainly there. Lamar Jackson has actually moved minus 170 for MVP. Christian McCaffrey right behind him at plus 400.
Yeah.
Tua at plus 1,000. Tua's had a really good year. I've loved watching, and he stayed healthy. I think that's the huge thing about Tua. Brock Purdy plus 1,200. Josh Allen plus 1,300. Dak Prescott plus 2,000. Tyreek Hill plus 2,200.
Brian, mark my words, bro. Mark my words, Brian. If Tua beat Lamar, watch them try to put Tua ahead of the MVP race.
I can see it.
That's what's going to happen. Because, Brian, we don't like it, but this is just how it is. This is a quarterback award, and they're going to give it to the best quarterback they think is playing at the time.
Well, I mean, you're probably right. This is, the quarterback is the leader of the team, and, the MVP has kind of turned into a quarterback award. But, that's going to be a huge game Sunday. Dolphins, Ravens, 12 o'clock on CBS. And that could tell us a lot. Dolphins have been kind of a different team. They're 11-4 on the season. 3 of those losses have been on the road. And the Ravens have been really, really good this season and had a statement win last week. So we'll see what happens. It'll be, really interesting to watch that game and a lot of other really interesting games in the NFL this weekend. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, the official hotel of the NCAA. Whether you're a student athlete working towards your championship dreams or your team's biggest fan, Fairfield by Marriott has everything you need to get ready for game day, from comfortable guest rooms to a complimentary hot breakfast. Visit fairfield.marriott.com to book your next game day stay. Fairfield by Marriott, part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels, an official hotel of the NCAA.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke,
Bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
It's our season of giving back at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUV Seat 7 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 699,094, MSRP 21,385, Sorrento PG 242,710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462, 2822, MSRP 38,705, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024, dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So how you like me now? 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 How you like me now?
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl
Looking for your next